seasons or so. Hey guys, welcome to the close. We are going to get the Fed meetings here, Fed minute meetings here any moment now. No reaction yet. That is the key. No reaction yet on the overall market. We're dead flat for the futures at the moment. Just watching, as I said, these minutes coming in expected at 2 o'clock. Otherwise, pretty flat afternoon as we head through to the close. Couple hours to go here. Left in the trading day. Still not seeing anything coming through as far as headlines to pass along, but this was supposed to be when we get these minutes from the January Fed meeting. Here is the overall market to kick things off this afternoon. We are negative, but dead flat. This is the SPY, obviously, but just chopping around here, 442. There we go, a little bit of a push back to the upside, maybe some headlines coming across. Dead flat, though, back and forth between 442 and 443 on the SPY, trying to get back to the upside here. Let's get right into things, shall we? I'll sift through some of these headlines that are coming through. We'll kick things off with a bit of a review. If you joined us in the morning, we talked a lot about some opportunities for you that came out in the open this morning. Sean's going to kick us off, as per usual, with a review of one of his trades.
Hey, yo, family. Yeah, today it's going to be Roblox for your trade of the day. And yeah, what a crazy day here today. Down now 26% and trying to get back up. We are short right now, so that's our current position. So Fed just released the minutes, so we're watching out to see if we take out 54, and then we'll punch out. Otherwise, we're down here below. But let's think about how we started the day. I wrote on this sticky note that the very first level we wanted to look at was going to be 60 bucks. I should have known this was a problem when we got filled at 8:40 in the morning. And you see what happens after that. So we take a small position, and you're always going to see whenever I'm doing the trade of the day, normally we're taking something in the pre-market, at least something. But this one's small on Roblox. Why? Because when you look at this, we had our very bottom, and we already broke it, but that bottom, that was a wick bottom, that one crazy day, I think on January 28th or so, was made, or actually this was a little bit earlier than that, was made down there at $53. So there was a 53, 54 bottom that we were looking at. So if we're going to respect that, that's the first mistake, is getting long 60. And then we sort of just added to it. Now, if you look at the daily chart one more time, we did have in here, there is 58 to 57, and I could have blown this up. I just want to show you the dramatic moves that Roblox has, right? So we were expecting some kind of fireworks today. This is the last earnings call. This one, 77 to 108, 111 there. So today, we go the opposite way and start making new lows on Roblox. But we just started to make a mess early. We bought there, and then we started, and then these are the good defends here. Back down 56, 57. So we're looking to now defend this 55 level, and we're able to get some out. But the problem is, as it comes down, we start bleeding. We get a little bit out, we get a little bit more out there. Then it goes up, and we fear we miss the bottom. Don't ever get FOMO on these plays. We fear we miss that bottom. So what winds up happening? We go long, and then it tanks again, and we don't get out. Comes up, a little bit of relief, and then that's really the ultimate out right there when we take down like 55, 54, 50, something like that to the downside. But we don't give up on Roblox. So it's a bad stock, but fortunately, because it's been going down, there was really no key levels for us to actually push in a decent amount of shares and put some risk on the line until, so forget about everything that's happening here. Most of these are just small little profits, in and out, scalping. We talked about switching over to scalping because it was barcoding here between 54 and 55. Then all of a sudden, dramatic move down. This is where we took 5 times the shares of any of these positions down here. We got long at like 54.04, something like that. Why did we take 5 times the shares? Because we had a bottom breaking through that 50, right? So, or sorry, 54. It kept up. It's too bad that it's so squished, but we kept getting out 20s, some 30s, not much, some teens there, until eventually it breaks, and that's that purple note. Once it breaks, we ignite the short, and finally we take the short at the lowest part of the day, and it tanks all the way down, and to the point where we're still short now. So that was a good trade for us. Other than this first little mishap, the scalping was great, this was great, and now this breakdown is great. My best out is 53.25 right now on a 54 short. So we're still holding this. I still think 53 breaks. It's your trade of the day, and it was a tough one. It was Roblox, but the damage is minimal, so I consider myself lucky.
All right, lots of stuff to discuss here this afternoon as we head forward. There's headlines coming through here. Why don't we just jump? That's a watch list, guys. If you're looking for the link, why don't we just jump right to my screen, guys, if we can, and I'll show you A few things to consider. Down here first, a few participants remarked that the risk could be mitigated through the clear and effective communication of the committee's assessment of the economic outlook. And then this one I highlighted up here, this caused that down move. Most participants noted that if inflation does not move down as they expected, it would be appropriate for the committee to remove policy accommodations at a faster pace, which I believe is an addition since the last meeting. I'll double check that. Let's refresh and get a few more here. But yeah, these are all just coming through as we speak. So overall, we were up, we were down, we're up again, kind of choppy so far.
Yeah, look, that was a crazy sort of up-down move. But the other thing I see there is that they do believe the realignment of the balance sheet could contribute to a further downturn. So, you know, that's sort of that caution, because it's been mixed action. I think that's why we got initial shot to the upside there in the Qs. You snap back, actually broke the lows, and now you're sort of coming right back into the highs. So it's whipsaw action. I kind of want to see this thing settle down. It feels like overall you're trying to get some buying in here more than anything else, and then there was a shakeout back into the downside. But it does feel overall that the market's trying to take this as a positive. Like I said, I actually felt like Bullard sort of came with the hot fire, for lack of a better term, when he basically had his comments off the cuff. And we wouldn't get too much of a shock here, and we're not getting any real direction. It's just whipsaw actions. People may be putting some bets on, and then are getting a bit of a shock play here, sort of up and down. This is what I looked at over here in Tesla, like 900 to 910, back down. Some of these are supporting some of those lows. That's the only thing I'll take from it. So we went shot to the upside, but when it wicked back down, you're supporting the bottom. So it does feel overall like the initial reaction is positive to the minutes, but keep in mind, like this is digesting through and reading everything, and then the market reacts. It's not real-time talk. It's just kind of piecing out all those different lines, what's different, what's the most important. Overall initial reaction feels positive for now.
Bang, it's always nice when you're doing the trade of the day and you come back and it's like, hey, maybe the best trade right here, maybe all day. Look at this, buy these bottoms in Ford. Look at that out we got. We got an 89 out as we sat there and waited for that trade to come through. So good so far. Yeah, and it was a good amount of shares too. So a nice out right there for Ford. Now it goes to the upside and keeps on going. So yes, sir, a nice little possibility there for me on Ford. So happy with that trade. For me, anyways, good one there on Ford, and we're going to continue to go to the high side. We're long now at 77 now, as it's 87. Let's go. We'll take another piece out here. There it is. We'll take another piece out on Roblox and go, yeah, buddy, on that one. We were waiting sub 50. Sub 53, but it just bounced off 10 there, it looks like. So we'll take it out at 40, and now we'll wait to see if we get that one dream to the downside, and then, of course, our outs are going to be up here. But, yeah, look at Ford. Yeah, let's go Ford, man. A good trade here, looking at, you know, and, again, just trade stocks that you like. I mean, don't even... You know, you just do the Arun method here. Who cares what the Fed says? You trade stocks, you hit the levels that you're at, and that's what you do. And then with Ford, it's the same story here. Although now it's starting to come back down. I feel like I'm chasing this. We're out already of, let me just make sure that I'm right here telling you guys how many shares I did have in the first place. I think, okay, yeah, so we're out of now 80, just north of 80% as we start to get these fills. So we're starting to get out of Ford right now, out of just north of 80% on a nice little bump up. And I said, I mean, I don't know, you guys following me or not. Maybe I'll talk to Mr. Schiff about this. But you can see right here what I tweeted out here at, what time was this? 1:29. I feel like Jay Powell will rally these markets. All right, let's see what happens. There's an instant rally, big time to the upside. Yes, sir, Jay Powell. Oh, my God, we called that one. We knew that he was a friend of ours, so there goes Jay Powell all the way to the upside, booming with some of these trades, guys. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's go.
And some things on the move from earlier. Some things matter to the market. Not. I think it's a coincidence, that hook, by the way, right back up to the high of the day. It's got a very defined range, so if you're watching this, yesterday's top on that news, 216, just getting taken out. I just reversed into the long. If you remember from this morning, it was a short up until that level, and it was only a reverse if it took out yesterday's high. So it starts screaming in here. And again, like some of these small caps, look, I can't say that they care about the overall market, but it held that morning low, so it was a good short over and over again, but it holds that morning low, and when that happens, you do have the chance for a breakout on some of these names. So it just broke that 217. It's going to be long at 19 when 17 broke, so not much slippage at all. It crossed that 100 million mark. Now it's going into the upside. I talked about some of these things are going to be flips. You can like to short all day long on a small cap, but it breaks a key level and it just turns into a nice little long. So I've already scalped half of it out in front of 230. On the daily chart here, like this is, trending down since $20 and obviously trying to make a bit of a break. Nothing significant on the daily until you get to about 240 here. So that would be the next leg up on the break. Hook, I think it's a bit of, it seems like a coincidence that it waited till 2 o'clock to do this, but hey, we'll take it.
A few things, guys, to note here. The first being, as Sean was mentioning there, the key when it comes to the Fed meetings is any change that happens. And I honestly don't think there was much from the last meeting, which could be why the market is catching a bit of a bid here. I also saw Twitter pop up there. Twitter guys adding Ethereum to their tipping option. So if you're on, I forget what it's called, Twitter Blue, I think. If you're on Twitter Blue, you can now tip with Ethereum. So, hey, that's positive.
I thought about adding that to it there, but we're a free, absolutely free show. So I'm not going to add tips to my Twitter, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. I think that's a good move for Twitter and for Ethereum. But
monetize, man.
I don't really see. Yeah. We don't need to monetize. Yeah, Twitter's got to monetize.
Twitter's got to monetize. Yeah, sorry.
For our show, though, I'd like to monetize, but that's not my decision right now. Okay, so right here, up to the upside, Ethereum right now, 3140. Doesn't seem to be rallying too much, more off the JPOW, so not much happening there. 3120 right now for Ether, so we'll check out what's going on with that. I am noticing, wow, I was going to say there was some big size. Look at that, 40,000 shares, one chunk right there. Someone took that on Ford, so hey, I'm happy to be that way right now as we are long on Ford, 10 cents in the money, and trust me when I tell you, that's a banger for me on that one for sure. And then Roblox, 70 cents now in the money. It's just so funny. Like I said here, this is a 3-minute chart. Let me just refresh this to a 1-minute chart here. It's just so funny. Here's the short that I took, breaking 54. And look at this. Look how easily I wind up, this is 1 minute, right? 1 minute, 2 minutes. In 3 minutes, I'm in the money 26 cents. This is where I took 5 times the shares, like I talked to you guys about, right here. And look at all these outs, 20s and 30s, right? And then when it breaks, we get out. There's just a little bit of bumbling here because I had too many shares. And then it breaks to the downside. We reloaded how much we need, and then bang, all the way down, capturing that nice little profit down there. And we just took another piece out. So we only have 1 piece left on this trade. So we'll see now if it comes back down to the downside and takes down this 53, but that's Twitter. But I'm still like in love with this Ford trade. It was really a great one here at the bottom, and then it just ripped up. Obviously, I wish I had more shares sitting here right there, but always nice to come back from the trade of the day and see that once again, man, we ring the register on another name, and that is Ford. So good one. Ethereum, it is what that is. Coinbase today, probably down. I don't really know. Are cryptocurrencies, they're flat. I have Ether up 0.5 right now. So yeah, Coinbase flat on the day, down 0.1, not doing much. Great bottoms down here, obviously 190. I think we'd see that again. We'll wait for Coinbase earnings. The last time they had earnings, it was dramatic miss. So we'll see here what comes through with them right now. But Roblox trying to push, let's go Roblox, trying to push the bottom. Earlier, like Neil said, man, we're switching back and forth. I was hella short, hella long last time, and now we're short, waiting for it to break this bottom. So let's go Roblox now to the downside, man. And again, just thankful that this was able to come back in for me, and we were able to kill this little area there, because honestly, Roblox was a bad trade today.
Yeah, and I made a bit of a change to my chart here, and a great suggestion, thank you, by Tim. You can kind of see orders here, and I know sometimes we'll talk about key levels. So when I said 240 resistance on hook, there's a nice red line. Like I'm actually sitting on the offer in front of it. I have taken a couple of fills here, but I am looking to see if that can push to 238. And that sort of coincides with, it's hard to show on the 15-minute, but if it gets to that 240, which is the level on the daily, I do want to jam out of it. Chris Schrum said he'd support monetization for all. Look, we're not asking you guys for anything. We love our community, guys. You want to do something, hit the like button for us. It's really about like being a trading floor. And I know there's nobody on our floor here, but you get different ideas. Wow, well, that was crazy. You get different ideas, different styles of trade, which helps everybody to grow. Brad trades one way, Sean trades one way, I trade one way, Brendan, Arun. That was insane on Hook. Like I just had the offer at 238. It was at 225. I just got filled and it just did a right turn. It's now screaming to the downside. I wish I had just reversed short, but it just touched that level, which we showed you guys on the daily chart 2 seconds ago, and then hard right turn. So I'm out of Hook at the high of the day. I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes you look at these levels where bag holders are trying to get out, and once they do, it's like jammed to the downside. Brendan?
Yeah, a few stops hit, it seemed, on that Hook stock. One noteworthy thing here, guys, the CME Fed funds rate future gauge back below 50% for the next meeting here on a 50 basis point increase. So one thing the meeting or the minutes, what am I trying to say? January Fed meeting minutes, there we go, has done is push. This was up to about 58% if you remember last week. So we're back to 48 now on the chances of a half point coming up in March.
All right. Okay. I mean, right now we're just kind of waiting around. We have Peter Schiff coming on soon at 2:30. So I think it's 2:30, right, Brendo? Yeah, 15 minutes. That should be great. We're waiting for that opportunity. And no better day than right now to ask him, because we have coming in here inflation, all the talk. We just had the Fed come out there. I'm sure he's going to have some interesting things to say. So definitely shout out to Mr. Schiff today. All right, so we have PayPal. So this is another losing stock for us today. We took one shot. Ooh, I don't even see where it is anymore. It's right. You can't even see it. It's right in here. So we took a shot at 112, which was the previous low, and then it broke, and we got out at 111.90. So right here, it's a 20-cent hit, and good thing we did. For some reason, I just got to switch up, my opinion, because the market seems to want to go one way. And that is down. So if you're looking for longs, it's going to be a tough one unless you pick the right stock, which is why, like, I'm just, through the moon right now with this Ford. You know what? Now that I say that, I think it's about time I just get out of Ford, because this is a nice little shot to the upside there. We'll put an offer at 90. We'll put an offer at 92. Now we can put one at 91. See if that gets picked up now. But that is that stock. Now that's Ford. DraftKings, another name to look at today, maybe on the downside here. We've been sort of liking DraftKings earlier before the Super Bowl, and some of the reasons why we talked about that. But you can see today starts off pretty low, has that beautiful run back up to 23, and now looking at the bottoms again. Yesterday in the afternoon, did we have it yesterday? I know. One day we missed it and one day we had it, but DraftKings continues to be, I guess, not really moving around right now. So I thought it would be at more key levels than that, but it's not. And then one last look here at SoFi, because someone brought SoFi. Oh, God, I put New York there. I brought SoFi to our attention in the morning, and we didn't really look at it. Down to 12.90. 13 is a pretty key level, if I am correct. Yeah, there it is. So 13, just barcode. I mean, yeah, right now, it's just there's nothing happening. The market is barcoding. Right now, these stocks are barcoding. Maybe if we do get a break. So on that note, how high up did we get? We only got to 13 here, not even. 13.01 on the Fed minutes there. So that's nothing. And it did go down to 80. So it did have a 20-cent bounce around there on that meeting note. But maybe if we take out 13.01, I just don't see really the possibility here for this name. So let's just continue with Roblox and Ford and see what's happening on these other names.
There's a slight headline that thank you in the chat. I saw someone in the chat there putting it in there about Estonian foreign intelligence chief says Russia moving approximately 10 battle groups towards the area near Ukraine. We've seen what headline risk has done to the overall market. It did seem the initial reaction was overall positive, and then maybe that contributes to a little bit of that pullback or sideways action. I'm still looking at Uber from those key levels yesterday. It spiked down on Fed to 36.25. We like 36 for the breakout. You can see it on the 15-minute. That's that 36 breakout. I've been waiting for the stock to get down there, so maybe this little push here that we're sort of seeing in the retracement there will get us down to 36. But that's been the support level I've wanted all morning long. And I don't want to chase things too far. I don't think that we're too much concerned with the bounce back up in Virgin Galactic. I think that was, once it rolled past afternoon support, it's been a pretty clean trend trade. If anything, I think it can be added back into around that 10-20 level if it continues to try to spike here in the market. So I think that one's relatively safe. I am looking for a way to get back into Hook. I mean, that volatility shouldn't really be going anywhere. And after that wick top, I mean, that's like, it's got to signal a short. At some point after. It just goes right to resistance at 240 and is pulled back in. The consolidation is significantly lower. Like, it didn't consolidate 5 or 10 cents lower. This is now 15, 20. So it's like a 10% move down before it consolidated. But I got to try a short at this. Maybe I'll give it back to like 230 or something like that, because I don't want to give it all the way to the high of the day.
Yeah, I'm still looking. If there's any opportunities you guys want me to look at, yeah, we can look at AMC. AMC was a big one for me today, obviously, as we had this bottom once again there. And I mean, we have literally the bottom of the day on AMC, so couldn't be happier with that. Playing off some of these pre-market levels of 1930. We have a 1932 in our account right there for AMC, so wow. And then our best out is 2008 right there on the upside. We did get it out. I mean, it started to hit some levels here of 1950, 1960, 1970. So we just sort of took it out on the way up and then let the last bit run. So all outs there. Good job. But then it comes right back in, and again, like we're sitting over there doing the thing. We're looking at too many things and missed AMC. So AMC down here, 1938, probably should have got looked at. And we'll have another shot at that, hopefully in a minute, if it does come back into those levels. So that's just AMC, always on my mind. And that's about that. Do I think NVIDIA will beat today? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I heard Trader Brad say like no crystal ball, and I mean honestly, I wish I sort of knew. I thought Roblox, and again, it's just on the guide. Like Roblox, I think we were right on Roblox. I mean, their bookings were up 20% year over year. Disappointed the street though, but still up. And you know, NVIDIA, just the way it's been trading here, forget about that. That's pre-split. You know, bounced down. We made this bottom at 220. It's been up the last couple days. Today it's having a little bit of an issue. Yesterday was up, what, 9-10% or something yesterday? So I feel like they should beat. I mean, all their cards are sold out, like all over the place. I even have my 10-year-old asking me about NVIDIA cards. So I feel like it's big. They're going to be big. But hey, I mean, is it worth a shot? Sure, you can play SMH, you can play NVIDIA. I mean, is it option eligible? Sure. I mean, you know, do we have Daniel Shea? That's tomorrow. I was going to say you could put like a put call spread. NVIDIA should move tomorrow, but I don't know. To make a call if it's going to beat or not too sure. But if it does miss, I mean, I think I want to buy some anyways down here, 235, 240. There goes the market. Like we said, man, Jay Powell, I said he had a chance to rally the market. It looks like that is what's happening.
Yeah, certainly. So I did get into hook at the 225 here. You'll see here's my stop. You know, just going to stop out at 230. I don't like the high of the day. I'm not going to roll around with that high of the day. That's too much of a wick top. I'll look where there was actual liquidity and volume. So 1-to-1s in front of the previous high, that was at 215. I'll take some out there, then probably down in that 210 to 212 area. VWAP sits in front of 2 even, and then we'll play off of that level as well. Overall, the market's starting to make a move to the upside, and that's the thing, like the initial reaction, just let the market tell you what it is as you're digesting all those minutes from all the Fed members there. And the initial reaction was more strength, holding support on some of those bottoms. And when it comes to the chips, worth pointing out, it's not just NVIDIA. I mean, it's also AMAT too that's going to be reporting, right? So I think that's going to be a big one. You know, whether it's the actual chip suppliers or the machine makers there, and AMAT has been sort of barcoding and looking to try to break out as well. So it's a big day for the last of the big tech earnings, and a big one to see all those chip names try to make a bit of a rebound in the overall market. Just coming back, I'm sure you're still in Roblox, but if you're talking, whoops, I just typed in New York or NASDAQ. Yeah, so if you're looking for something which is likely to have the most chance of a monster pullback, or I guess bounce to the upside, Roblox is going to sit there because it's down 27%. 53, current low of the day, also coincides, generally speaking, with the recent low here. It has broken that. You'd like to see it recover 54. If it does that, then it's trying to hold the recent January bottom. For now, the trend still feels pretty strong to the downside, but it gets above this, and a decent chance that this one could be a bit of an afternoon runner.
Off. Okay, I'm just saying off. I cannot believe Ford, by the way, guys. Like, you want to talk about the people's trade right there. Wow, Ford, the people's car, the Ford Mustang. Nah, I don't know. We won't make that up, but there it is, right to the upside. Look at Ford, guys. Go! You know, I mean, again, like, it's just, always, I don't have enough on when it does this, but hey, man, we were really happy when we came back and sat down and saw 90. Like, again, you're not, if there was a trade of the day, I would do this second. Like, this one off these bottoms, wait, be very, very patient with Ford. Then you get the move to the upside, which we called on Jay Powell, so that's a good move there. So that was a good one, man. And we'll just move off that. So I see what you're saying there, friends, and shout out to Taco Eater. It's not Taco Tuesday here, but where was that here? People's Trader by morning and afternoon, correct? People's comedian by midday hours. I think I said some jokes there when Prad was going off there, so thank you, Taco Eater, for your kind words. And don't eat too many tacos, but tacos aren't bad for you. All right, and then Franz, I just want to address you quickly, because you said my Roblox short will go up in smoke soon. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, probably. That's why we're out. I mean, I literally have 5% left. I was holding 10%. We got a piece out right there. Oh, I didn't even realize that the 50 period is all the way down here. So yeah, this is probably an out. Because it's such a small amount, honestly though, Franz, I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna hold all the way back to 53.95. So if you wanna hold that, we'll see if you can do that. Definitely worth it for sure. And if you can, guys, we have Peter Schiff coming on. We have all these trades. We have the People's Trader. We have everything going on. If you can hit the like button, that would be fantastic. Here we go. Here goes Ford. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Let's go. Let's see how far we can take this show. And I think we could take it, guys, to the moon. So let's go on that one. And yeah, Netflix, maybe PayPal. PayPal bouncing nicely. Let's see what happens here moving forward.
And DoorDash, by the way, DoorDash making some power moves here. Anything that's running into resistance right now, it's going to be on my radar, because usually you get some whipsaw action. And if you're looking at the futures, don't have Arun on today. He did miss out. But here is that support from the morning. You're right back into that level. If there's somewhere you're going to slow down, it might be right about here. And if I can find something on resistance, that's what I'm going to be looking for next. Actually, there it is right now on DoorDash, making a bit of a right-hand turn at $96. It's just playing inside of the range. A lot of times on Fed, you get whipsaw action that's back and forth, and so we want to make sure we're playing inside of it. Just going back to some of the positions that we're already in, this is going to be, there's now a bit of an offer emerging on hook at 221 or so. So we're in the money a couple cents there. I said we take some out in front of the previous high of the day. We went ahead and did that and rang the register. This one's giving you that in both directions. First, you get clear resistance from yesterday's high, shorting it, but then remember one of the rules about these small caps. If it holds morning support, it doesn't matter how good the short is. Over and over again, it's going to turn into a breakout potential trade when it takes out that high. Now, obviously, it rejected that 240 level, and we're going to jump into the short first consolidation, play it back into VWAP. That's going to be the plan of action for me there. I don't know if I actually got the DoorDash fill there, but I do like that turn. The futures are slowing down right at that 14.55 range.
Oh man, I'm still impressed with this Ford trade. I mean, I just wish obviously we would have had a little bit more on that one, as now we're up to 1803. I'm just getting my order in here on Roblox because I did have it for that extra piece. So if we break back above 54, then we do want to get out of this Roblox. So we'll just put it in order. And I'm crossing up 20 cents. So if it does break through 54, then our order will go out at 54.20 just to make sure we don't miss it. But right now there's tons of liquidity on Roblox, so you won't get the slippage like you may have had in the AM on that play. So that's just something to look at there. What else? What else is everybody looking at? Yeah, I don't know H&1. I just made that up. I've never ridden in the Ford EV Mustang. But if we keep trading like this, maybe we will one day. So I don't even know how much it costs. Was it 50 grand? I don't know what it is in the States. But okay, nice little move. Wow, I still can't believe that Ford. That's exciting. All right, so let's go. Apple pumped, Apple dumped. Let's see Microsoft. My number one stock today is going to be still Microsoft, but Ford in one trade trying to take that claim.
Oh, wow.
And look at this, guys. Look where we were along Microsoft. And I want to give a big shout out. I think it was Krishna there that talked about it early and said that 90% of my calls appear to be winners. Great. I mean, you're back testing my trades. That's fantastic. And look at this. Like up to 299 now, and I was long 294. Just disgusting that I'm not still long. But again, we took the $1.50 and got out. But I mean, look at this Microsoft. Absolutely unbelievable. Maybe Krishna, one day I will trust myself a little more in the long run.
Well, the one thing you always got to do is like trust setups, right? Like if you see something that works over and over again, just go back to that well when you see it. Now, I might have missed DoorDash turn at 96. That actually pulled back. But I did watch Robinhood. When Robinhood made this move right at the end of our morning show, I actually paid for shorts like the second we got out. And then got up from the desk and missed that rollover. But if we're going to pop on Fed, again, parabolic move, right into obvious resistance. Morning resistance, afternoon, same thing. Some short here in front of 1375. Risk to reward is pretty simple. I'll probably give it a couple of extra cents just to give it to about 80 because I'd rather give up 10 cents on this stock than 3 or 4, which is unreasonable. So we're now into that name. And watch out for a bit of a breakout happening on Uber. I did think it was 36 where we wanted to be buying it. Now it's trying to get through that 36.80 area. This is a stock which is in the midst of a multi-day break. I think once it can chew through these levels, even breaking out the high, room to 40 on Uber. That's the key. Made a double bottom, great support at 34, got absolutely crushed. You then broke out yesterday at 36, and it's still trying to make a secondary push. So it's either a buy off 36 or you want this taking out that high.
Look at our boy here, man. Palantir. Run like crazy here, Palantir. Wow, what's up to Henry? I know you're all over this name. I'm very, very nervous as a Palantir investor for the report tomorrow. I mean, a lot of these names, I mean, Upstart was great. I don't think Palantir will announce a buyback, but if they do, that's fantastic as well. So we can wait to see what does happen now with Palantir here tomorrow. Earnings coming, very, very slippery slope for them. The last shares I bought, though, and again, talked about this on the show, the last shares that we bought here on Palantir were actually at 12.05. So we put that out. That's on my Twitter. So far, so good. Ooh, big size here. 500,000 shares on the offer of Palantir. So, you know, oops, PLTR.
That was yesterday, too.
Yeah. Oh, it's right here, right now. Okay, it looks like it may or may not break right now on Palantir. So 14.22. Let's see if we put. Oh, there it goes. Breaks right through. We now have to get out because we did put an order in there and it broke. So let's get out now of Palantir and we'll just lick our wounds there. We just put an order out and I didn't get the stop order out in time. So there we go. Now we're out of it. So there it is. One mistake there. We saw monster shares, but they took that out. So that's a very, very bullish sign there for PLTR. So let's just rock and roll with this name and watch it. We went short there against that level, but you can see the NASDAQ still ticking up. Ford still go, man. 1807 now for Ford Motor Company. What was bad is now good. We have Fisker reporting, and we'll see what they come up with. But right now, Ford rocking and rolling.
Someone put 2 orders of that size on Palantir yesterday at about, not necessarily the exact same time, but in the same price range. I remember because we were shorting that one in the afternoon. So clearly somebody the last couple of days has been selling in front of those earnings, or maybe, who knows, they could be swinging profits. They could be taking short. You can't have any way of knowing which one it might be. Robinhood is starting to level off a little bit. Same thing's happening in Hook. But Virgin Galactic is the other one that we're in. I said this would get to be a reload spot if we got right back up here into VWAP. So that's on the 15-minute chart. I mean, here we are right at the early afternoon resistance levels, about 10:15 or so. I like 10:20 right up in here. We've only been shorting at 25 to 40, like in that pocket. So we're getting very close to a re-up in that short position. I tend to not care. This was based on news and a squeeze yesterday. So I don't know that the Fed is going to be, this Fed push to the upside, it might not carry something like this as far as it would carry a more stable name that's gotten beaten up, like those chip names, or maybe even a Roblox could fall into that category potentially. I don't know if that's going to apply to something like a Virgin Galactic here. So we get about 10 cents higher, back where we were getting in earlier this morning. That's what I want to wait for. I talked about getting into Robinhood. It's still on the NASDAQ. And there we go. We just got into this one. I have targets down around 1360. I'm going to get some bids down around 50s once it tries to break. It's putting that rollover in as we speak, but the stop is relatively tight. I'm not giving this to the high of the day. I'd probably just take another shot up there to the short side of the trade. And for those of you that are Tesla fanboys, Tesla just ran all the way to the high of the day. So Tesla absolutely breaking out. If it takes out the top, don't forget 950 has been a monster level on this name. I don't think there's any way it can get past that. I think it's a fade. If this market goes booming higher, this is what 950 looks like on your 15-minute chart. It's just been an absolute wall at that price. So great run on Tesla. It's super strong. Maybe it takes out the high, but that 950 is no joke. It would be asking a lot for it to get through that price today.
Look, we're really super excited. We're getting all queued up here to have at Peter Schiff coming through the show, and it's going to be a big one. He's going to be talking with Brendan. I just tweeted that out, so it's going to be coming out very, very soon. We're getting locked and loaded with that one. Should be really exciting considering today's events. So we will see what he has to say. It's always nice to have contrarian views, go back and forth, see what's up. So we will talk with Peter Schiff very, very soon as that all gets locked and loaded. Palantir's just dancing around those levels. And there it is. So finally, the only, again, we have a couple red stocks, but the only one of note today is going to be Roblox. And that's my bad, man. We started going with the long. We only really made money once the short came in right there. So there's the short. So what's up to you, Franz? Thanks for bringing that out to my attention. We're out of it, so all good on the Roblox trade right now, but so far so good. We'll have to see where we go with this, but we're out of that one. The only thing we're waiting on right now is Ford, and that's 30 cents in the money. Let's go over to Brendan.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, busy afternoon. What a perfect day to have the founder of Euro Pacific Funds Asset Management joining us on the show for the first time. We're thrilled that Peter Schiff has taken some time out of his busy afternoon to join us to give us some insight on not only today, but a little bit of a higher look at the overall market conditions following today. Maybe, Peter, it's great to have you. Great to see you. Welcome, first off. I mean, the Fed minutes just out here, the market seemingly positive on what would appear to be no change as far as comments from the Fed on this. I mean, I'll give you a chance here to have a response on what the Fed has done here today.
Well, the Fed has done a lot of damage, and they didn't just do it today. They've been doing it for a long time. The minutes are really irrelevant to the severity of the problem. A lot of people are trying to figure out, do the minutes mean the Fed's going to hike 50 basis points in March? Are they going to hike 25 basis points? It's irrelevant because 50 basis points is too little too late. The Fed needs to hike interest rates by much more than 50 basis points. They also need to start shrinking the balance sheet aggressively right now, but it's not just the Fed that needs to be changing policy. It's the government. We need to get rid of these $3 trillion a year budget deficits that the Fed is monetizing. The government needs substantial cuts to government spending, including entitlements. And if they can't do that, then they need substantial middle-class tax hikes. But they've got to do something to eliminate these deficits that the Fed is monetizing, because that is the source of inflation. You've got some people today talking about wage price spiral. That's a bunch of nonsense. There's no such thing. They made that term up in the 1970s. Wages don't cause prices to go up. Wages are prices. They're the price of labor. Wages and other prices go up because of inflation. It's the Federal Reserve that is creating the inflation by printing money to monetize government deficits, and they're artificially suppressing interest rates because thanks to the Fed, we have so much debt. If the Fed allowed rates to return to a market level, everything would implode. We'd have a worse financial crisis than 2008 with no bailouts, and the U.S. government would be insolvent and have to default on the debt. So because they're not going to allow that, inflation is going to run rampant. It's not going to be brought under control by the Fed. I mean, first the Fed pretended there was no inflation. Then they pretended it was transitory. Now they're pretending they're going to fight it. They're not. Inflation is going to win by default, and that means you need to drastically readjust your investment strategy, because everything that worked when the bubble was inflating is not going to work now that the air is coming out.
I want to get into this a little bit more as far as, what we can, move towards maybe as far as investments are concerned. But I want to talk about the March meeting here a little bit first, Peter, because as we saw with the release there, the probability of 0.5%, and as you said, the number here is probably a little bit irrelevant, but the probability of 0.5% versus a quarter went from about 58 down to 48 in an instance. Where do you think they should be going at not only the March meeting, but going forward?
I mean, rates should be higher than the inflation rate. I mean, so what's the inflation rate? The inflation rate, the way the government is now measuring it, is 7.5%, but that's a lie. If you look at the import-export prices that came out today, that's more reflective of what's going on. Export prices rose 15% year over year, 15.1. 15% is more what the inflation rate is. In fact, if we were measuring prices using the same CPI that we used in 1982, which was the last time we had an inflation rate as high as 7.5 year over year, if we still use that CPI, we would be at 15%. So interest rates need to be higher than the inflation rate, because you need a positive real return. When you are lending money, you're not doing it to lose. You need to get a return that is higher than the rate of inflation. And so that's where the Fed needs to go. So all this talk about 0%, a quarter, 50 basis points, 1%, 2%, it is irrelevant. That is highly stimulative. You have massively negative interest rates. It is highly inflationary. So if the Fed raises interest rates by 50 basis points, they are still pursuing a loose monetary policy that is extremely inflationary. They will continue to throw gasoline on the fire, even if you want to pretend they're throwing less gasoline. But I would say they're throwing more because the rate of inflation is rising faster than the rate hikes. Remember, in December, the year-over-year inflation rate was 7% by the CPI. Now in January, it's 7.5%. That's your 50 basis point rate hike. It's already been obliterated by the increasing inflation.
Let's talk a little bit about how we got here and some of the problems that still exist in this marketplace. A lot of people got very comfortable with massive gains over the past, 3 to 5 years, even going back to 10 years. Why all of a sudden has earnings ratios come back into the conversation? And where can we see that going in the future to a point where, a stock that's trading 100, 200 times on earnings has now been cut 70, 80%?
Yeah, so that type of momentum investing where you just bought anything that was going up, regardless of the underlying fundamentals of the business, regardless of earnings, even if they didn't have any earnings, that worked in the environment that we were in before, which was this supposedly low inflation environment and where the Fed could keep interest rates at practically zero. We had all this QE. The Fed had everybody's back. There was a put in the market, whether it was the Greenspan put, the Bernanke put, the Yellen put, the Powell put. People were encouraged to speculate, take on excess risk. Well, those days are gone. Right? The Fed is going to be raising rates. They're not raising them enough to slow inflation, but they will raise them enough to prick that bubble. And we're going to a different environment. We're going to a major long-term bear market in bonds. Long-term interest rates are headed higher. Even short-term rates are going up in nominal terms. Of course, in real terms, they're probably going to keep falling. But this is going to change the dynamic because the potential present value of distant earnings in the future is being dramatically reduced by high inflation. So what investors are going to have a preference for is real earnings today that can translate into dividends today, and they're investing in companies that have pricing power where they can raise their prices in line with their costs so they can maintain margins and increase their dividends so that the shareholders have a hedge against inflation. It's all about using the equity market to hedge inflation, to get a real rate of return, and that means value stock investing is back in vogue. It's real fundamentals. It's Warren Buffett stuff. It's John Templeton. It's, we're buying low prices, good balance sheets, high dividend yields. None of this pie in the sky betting on the come. And the problem is that's what most Americans own. Most people are overloaded in the stocks that are about to go down the most. I mean, the averages will be very deceiving because most stocks, the average stock is already down way more than the averages. But people are going to get killed because they're not going to recognize this change. They're still in the buy the dip mentality. Well, it's going to dip and then it's going to keep on dipping, right? And anyone who buys this dip is going to be in trouble because the next dip is going to be bigger. And if they buy that again, they're going to be in even more trouble. Some people might be using margin to buy these dips, in which case they're going to be flushed out with margin calls. But people have to understand how this has changed. And also the dollar. The dollar is going to get crushed. We have record trade deficits. We have record budget deficits. And inflation is going to continue to erode away the value of the dollar. When people thought the Fed was going to fight inflation, that's what propped up the dollar. When they realized that inflation already won and there is no fight, that the dollar is going to get killed, we're going to have endless inflation, then it's going to be a rush out of the dollar. So it's not just out of momentum stocks, it's out of U.S. It's out of U.S. stocks, it's out of U.S. bonds. So you got to be invested in foreign value, foreign dividend payers, emerging markets, stocks with commodity exposure, stuff that does well in an inflationary environment.
Let's talk about a couple of those areas of the market. I want to mention energy, first of all. Monster year because of obviously price increases in this, but a lot of these names have had pretty impressive years. And the other one, as you said, metals and gold, obviously having a very good year as well. if you're maybe just starting out now today with whatever size account, let's say a smaller account, how would you approach maybe dipping into these markets today?
Well, first of all, oil's had a pretty good year, but not gold. I mean, gold is up a little bit. Gold stocks are flat, maybe slightly higher. And that's because people still believe the Fed is serious about fighting inflation, when they're not. I mean, if they were serious about fighting inflation, the markets would be crashing right now. The bond market would be crashing. Things would be very different. They're not serious. And when the markets understand that, you're going to see a much bigger rally in gold, a much bigger rally in the mining stocks. So that's where people should really be focusing right now. I mean, I like the oil stocks, and we own a bunch of them. But right now, the mining stocks are going to give you the best bang for the buck. They're on the verge of a huge, I think, increase in price. So those are the ones that should be bought right away, I think, if you're looking for a way to quickly take advantage of this. I mean, they are speculative, obviously, but I think the upside potential far outweighs the downside risk in these stocks.
Hey, Peter, thank you so much for coming on. Our chat is going crazy, and they really love everything you're saying. One quick question. You sort of just answered it. Thanks for answering about mining stocks and oil and resources. But I'm going to ask a little bit more of a broader question, and I'm not sure what your answer is going to be. When, and maybe it's not anytime soon, what has to happen for you to turn bullish on the ES? So on the S&P 500, is there something that has to happen? Is it when the Fed finally turns dovish again? Like, what has to happen for you to sort of say, you know what, maybe this is a bottom? What are you looking for?
Well, first of all, the Fed is dovish the entire time. They've never turned hawkish. All they've done is get slightly less dovish than they were before. So the hawks are extinct, right? They're like the dodo birds at the Fed. They're all doves. And the problem is, they're going to pivot again. They're going to go from less dovish to more dovish, but that's not going to be a buy signal for U.S. stocks. It's going to be a sell signal for the U.S. dollar. See, in the past, the Fed was able to bail out the markets by printing money, and that helped. But the problem this time is going to be no one's going to want the money they're printing. The epicenter of the next crisis is the U.S. dollar. It's a currency crisis and a sovereign debt crisis. So when they pivot from less dovish to more dovish, you better already own a bunch of gold stocks. You better already have your money invested internationally. I mean, look, the accounts that we're managing, even our non-gold stocks are way outperforming our gold stocks year to date, and we have very solid positive returns. Even as the U.S. market is going down, the value stocks that we own outside the United States continue to go up, continue to make 52-week highs in the face of this decline. We've finally had this decoupling where the U.S. markets can fall and foreign markets could rise. But what would actually make me bullish on U.S. stocks? One, much lower prices, right? So the U.S. market is ridiculously overvalued. I can get much better buys internationally than I can here, much lower PEs, much higher dividend yields. So as long as the U.S. market is expensive, I have no interest in it. So the market needs to come down a lot before it's going to pique my interest. But number two, what I really need to see is a complete 180 when it comes to policy. We have to understand that the Federal Reserve has been the source of our problems, and we can't lean on the Federal Reserve as some kind of economic crutch, because it actually debilitates the economy and creates a dependency where the economy then becomes dependent on the crutch of cheap money. And when you do that, you distort the economy, you get a misallocation of resources, you get malinvestments. The economy is a mess because of central banking and big government. So what I'm going to need to see is a return to sound monetary policies. I want to see major cuts to government spending. I want to see the deficits brought under control, cuts to entitlements, higher interest rates, asset prices down. I want to see Americans saving again. I want, production, exports. If I see the fundamental problems fixed, and at the same time, we have good values, which we will have, because in order to right the ship and get us back on track, we are going to have to go through a protracted economic downturn. Unfortunately, there's no way around that. It's like, if you're a drug addict and you're going to kick the habit, you're going to rehab, right? And, rehab's not like going to, Club Med. It's tough. And we need economic rehab. We need to get the monetary heroin out of our system. And so when that happens, if it happens, I'm happy to buy U.S. stocks when they're really cheap and take advantage of the positive reforms that have been made. But as of now, I have no idea if we're ever going to do that. So I'm going to sit back and watch, but I'm going to make a lot of money observing this, investing overseas, being in foreign stocks, foreign currencies, precious metals, emerging markets. I mean, we're going to crush it in these stocks. I mean, if you go back to the last decade, from 2000-ish to 2010, it was a disaster. It was a lost decade in the U.S. Investors made a lot of money, though, internationally, in commodities, in emerging markets, in gold, just like they did in the 1970s. The 1970s was a horrible year for stocks adjusted for inflation. It was a great year for foreign stocks, commodities, gold. We're on the beginning of another huge decade for international investing, commodities, and things like that. It's going to be bigger, I think, than the 70s and bigger than the 2000s. The U.S. economy is in far worse shape than it was in either of those periods. We have much more debt. So the dollar is far more overvalued. The U.S. markets are far more overvalued. So I think the real losses for people who remain in U.S. assets, particularly fixed income or bonds, even more so than a lot of stocks. But obviously, a lot of these momentum stocks can just go bankrupt and people can lose everything in a lot of these money-losing companies. But I think the losses for people who remain in the U.S. will be bigger in term adjusted for inflation, whereas the gains that investors will receive because they were smart enough to get out of Dodge and get their money into the same markets that I'm investing in, I think the gains will also be much larger than what investors who made that switch have been rewarded with in the past.
Peter, wow, I mean, amazing coverage right there. My heroin is the buy key, so I got to remove that, go to rehab and get that off my keyboard here. But in all seriousness, Charlie Munger just came out and said about missing the run-up in Bitcoin, and I know this is something that's near and dear to your heart, obviously, missing the run-up and actually calling it a disease, Bitcoin, so on and so forth. Now, my question to you is, he also, we know, likes opportunities in Alibaba, in some of these Chinese markets. Are there companies like that? And I know you're talking about going into foreign investments. Isn't Alibaba or something with such low PEs of around 10? I have the daily chart up here, actually, if you guys want to show it just really quickly. Alibaba did peak out earlier on in May, and that wasn't even the high of 240. We're all the way down to 120, literally cut in half now, down to 110. But I wouldn't be the people's trader if I didn't ask you about Alibaba or some of these Chinese names. Are there any of these names that maybe you're getting?
We owned Tencent for a while. We owned Baidu. We got out of those stocks. We took some really nice profits in them. And they're still on our radar. They may have some more work on the downside because they're going to get caught up in the tech wreck. But yeah, I mean, some of these Chinese tech names are going to be interesting investments, and I'm sure we'll reposition in those at some point, probably far earlier than we might get into U.S. names. But the Bitcoin, you mentioned that. That's just another bubble that was inflated during this mania. I mean, massive malinvestment in the whole cryptocurrency sector. The whole thing is gigantic, a Ponzi, it's a pyramid, it's a chain letter. It's not viable. I mean, did I miss the run up in that? Did I buy it and take advantage of it? No. I mean, I missed it. And the reason I missed it is because I understood it. I understood it from the beginning. That it wasn't going to work as money, that it wasn't viable, that it didn't have any of the qualities of money, that it wasn't digital gold, it was fool's gold. What I underestimated was the intelligence of everybody else. I mean, people got conned into believing this nonsense, and it was a combination of greed and ignorance that helped propel the bubble. And so, yes, there are people who made and are making a lot of money in crypto because they're able to take advantage of other people's greed and ignorance, and they're able to sell. And the only people who are going to make money in Bitcoin are the people who sold and the people who are selling. The people who are going to lose everything are the hodlers, the people that bought and never sold. They're going to ride this thing down. This is a zero-sum or a negative-sum game. The money that some people make in Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency is equal to what other people lose, minus like the VIG, all the transaction costs, all the advertising money, or whatever else they spent trying to pump this thing up so they can dump it. But what's unfortunate is how the financial media has legitimized this whole thing, and they cover this like it's actual investment. It's not investing. It's just gambling. It's got nothing to do with investing. And you see networks like CNBC cover this thing, legitimizing it they better lawyer up because they're going to get sued as a result of what they've been doing, I think, especially if you look at the coordinated effort between the advertisers and the network and how they've completely turned the network into an infomercial for cryptocurrencies. And, they're leading their viewers, down this primrose path to bankruptcy. But it's unfortunate because a lot of the things that some of the Bitcoin pumpers are saying are correct on the economy, on the criticism of the Fed, on fiat money. In fact, a lot of this stuff these guys learned from me, right? The same stuff I was saying was a problem. They're saying the same thing, except they've got the wrong solution. Jump into a Ponzi scheme. I'm talking about doing real things like buying gold or getting out of the dollar, buying dividend-paying foreign stocks. They're just hyping, this pyramid scheme. And, it's easy to get the price to really move up, and then they con people with the past price appreciation. But the only reason the prices went up is because people bought. And the only reason people buy is because they think other people will buy and pay an even higher price. Well, eventually, you either run out of fools or the fools run out of money. But at some point, the whole thing implodes, and there's a good chance we've already peaked out in Bitcoin at just under 70,000.
Yeah, possibly.
And we'll see. I think if we crack below 30,000, we can make a pretty big move to 10,000, and then we'll see how long it takes for it to go from 10,000 to zero.
I think we're talking about the greater fool theory right there, and I agree with you on that. That does help ramp it up. We saw the same thing with Tesla and everything just going absolutely crazy. Peter Schiff, I didn't think I'd see somebody as passionate about their art and about the markets as myself, but I'm glad to have met you today. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to throw you back to Brett, and thank you.
All right, take care.
Peter Schiff is the founder of Euro Pacific Capital. We appreciate your time today. We know you're a busy guy, so thank you for doing this.
All right, take care. Thanks a lot.
Have a great day. There we go, guys. Mr. Schiff himself.
That was.
I mean, that's great. I mean, that's what we're talking about right there. Opinions backed up.
Yeah.
By knowledge and facts, whether or not it's in the same realm as that. But let's go. Yeah.
There's a few important things that I think that got said there, certainly. And if you start talking about the opportunity in foreign markets, I know we're a trading show that focuses on the U.S. markets, but there are a lot of opportunities, especially in Europe, where you get some more stable companies that have historically traded at lower PEs and will offer steady dividends. And a lot of times we don't cover them because we're not day trading them. So there are a lot of opportunities when it comes to diversifying a portfolio that you can go into in those foreign markets. So I think it's definitely something that everybody can sort of learn from there, because fundamentally speaking, I think we all understand, regardless of your overall opinions on how bad things could get, or whether we're fear-mongering or whether we're perma-bulls, you can still understand portfolio diversification and how to react when you see these kinds of shifts in the overall market. We've been talking about pricing power as well, and dividend-paying names. Maybe not as extreme of a sense, but certainly those things belong in a portfolio. The market, it is still moving while all that was going on. So I just wanted to come back to a couple of things here and start by doing this. So I hit the Ms. V one for a reason. So we got the Robinhood trade. I'll show you guys. We got the entry for the rollover when the market slowed down, and now it's starting to come back in. But Ms. V, Sean, we didn't show this on the morning show. Brought some nice trinkets for us. I want to make sure we show these off. I don't know if we can, guys, but this nice whistle. So I got this one. It's like a really cool, like Russian handcrafted whistle. I got two of them. My daughter has one. I'm taking the other one back to her because she absolutely loves this thing. It's amazing. Prad got and I want to try to say this right. It's a Matryoshka doll. Did I say it right? Matryoshka doll?
Yeah,
Matryoshka doll. Which is, those are the ones where it's like 8. I could have Valeria say it because she'll say it right, but they're absolutely gorgeous.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Sean said it right. I mean, I'm not.
I got you.
Me saying Russian is not going to be a good thing, but yeah, certainly. So we're happy to have Miss V back. We're happy to see these markets moving. There are plenty of opportunities out there. I don't know what Roblox just did, but I can tell you, I was watching.
Probably ripped.
I was watching Uber just now, which was on the midst of a breakout, about to break out through 37, and came all the way back to those lows. So crazy price action. It was honestly, we had our guest on, Peter Schiff, and the market pulled back a lot of these names right back to the lows, and now they seem to be bouncing. Coincidence?
Matryoshka is what I don't know. I gave mine to my daughter as well, and then we have this one here. This is a magnet, so we'll put this. I'm just keeping it here.
I didn't know that was a magnet.
Yeah, man, magnet, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Putting it right here beside. My fridge is stainless steel. It won't stick to it. It has
usually
that coating on it. Yeah, usually the sides will have that. But okay, yeah. So we'll keep that here. Just so you know what, they can't really. The bull kind of needs to. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of the same color. Okay, yeah, what's up to Jude Fernando? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I didn't think there'd be someone that could out-talk me either, but there it is. Peter Schiff in the building. What a good interview that was, man. I hope that, I should have asked him to come back on. So you guys want him back on? We'll fire him off an email, see when we can do that for you. He just trash talked CNBC pretty hard, so I don't know if they're going to have him on, if you know what I'm saying. The
lawsuit's comment was intense.
Where's the lawsuit? Yeah, I got a lawyer up, apparently. But, I mean, I'm not sitting here telling anybody to buy Bitcoin or anything like that. I do own Bitcoin. I was buyer low, and I was able to make money on it. I do feel a lot of things that he was saying is very important. And, you know, whether or not you believe it's a Ponzi scheme as passionately as he does, or you believe there's more to Bitcoin like others do, there's definitely a back and forth. And that's why I believe we're in the best business period, because, you know, whether or not there's a recession, whether or not there's booming economy, whether or not, you know, gas goes nuts. We're in an inflation, bear market, bull market. We're still going to be here. And I'm not just talking about Trader TV Live. I'm talking about the market. Like, I've been here through 2008. I've been here. Like I said, last year was literally my best year, I think, net-wise. Not only was I here trading on the show for you guys, no negative months last year, monster year. And, I mean, that could happen at all times. A down market, we're going to be here crushing the shorts. An up market, you just need optionality and volatility in the market, and we have that. And thank you to Peter Schiff for coming on. That was pretty hot fire. I really did enjoy him. Next time, you know, maybe we'll go back and forth a bit more. But yeah, really awesome to have him on. So thanks to Brendan and to Maggie for organizing that. That was awesome.
Yeah, certainly. And like, that's the thing. It's all about education here. And look, the truth of the matter is volatility is good for short-term trading. It might not always be fun for your long-term account, but there's always things that you can do with it. Just checking in on some things that are still moving here, guys. That KSCP, I see it. It's breaking VWAP. That's nice, but $10 is a level on this bad boy. So, you know, it gets up to 10, which is where we were just in the morning. And I think that's where your resistance can be, even for a breakout. It probably has to get through the $10 even just to be a good one. And then I talked to you guys about that hook. That was the super volatile one all morning long. You were able to get those shorts. I then talked about that long reversal, the 240 level, and then consolidating. Because look, you get a wick top like that. We talk about the wick off top or bottom or whatever it might be. In this case, that is a clean wick high right into a monster level. First consolidation's a short. It plays back into VWAP. At this point, I'm kind of looking at that 190. We break VWAP, and then 190, which was our best out on the short, below the high of the day. That's where I want to take this trade out. It's still, and I'm not even sure it will, it still has hold morning support. Forget about pre-market lows. Morning support levels down here at about, I mean, realistically more like 190, even though it ticked down to 187. It still has not managed to break that. So I want to be out of this bad boy before $1.92 here. And again, you can trade small caps when they're moving. Just make sure there's actual volume here. This is going to do 200 million shares on the day. So it's a big time mover, and we're happy to have it. Virgin Galactic, the other one that I'm still in here. I was unable to get back into this and re-up. It never broke VWAP definitively. It couldn't get back up to 1030, so I canceled my order. At this point, the move was made post-Fed minutes, and then we just had a bit of a pullback. So if I'm not capturing that and it wants to break back out, then I don't think it's a reload unless it goes all the way back into that 1040 level. So we're going to be patient a bit here. The market's going to be testing higher, and I think there's going to be some good trading opportunities. We've just entered power hour already, so that just happened fast.
Yeah, what time is it? Yeah, 3:02. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're having fun, you know. Okay, so we did short. Remember when we shorted up here, Palantir, and then it blew up, and we got out for flat, or we took a 1 penny hit, I believe it was. There, it looks like we're in and out for flat, but we're going to go long again here and see if we can't capture a little bit of profit on this name. Here it goes up to 07. Nothing wrong with taking a shot there. Out at 07 a little bit anyways. Here it comes back in, filling out. There it goes, filling us a little bit more there at 07. And now we'll wait to see if it goes back to the upside. So quick little scalp here off 04. We'll see if we can get back in the mid-range here or so of this trade, but it doesn't look like it even wants to break 07 here, so I don't know. We'll see. Whoops, got out of too many shares there, but there it is, a nice little out more at 07. We meant to go to 08 there, so we'll go a little bit higher, but there it is. We're just let this thing bounce around. We are above the 50-period moving average. I feel like this was just crazy. Look at that big, like I said, there's 1 million shares right there that got, is that 1 million shares? How many we've done today? Yeah, that makes sense. 1 million shares done right there, and now falling back in. So watch out for that one. Now it's starting to go back upside. So here we go. Here we go, Palantir. Nice little quick win. Let's see if we get back to mid-range here. Like 14.15, 14.16 is my target, and that should end that trade. So we'll see if we can get that, but that's what I'm looking for as a spot there on Palantir into the mid-teens here to get this out off of an 0.4 long that we just took 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, we're going to come to some of these names that have been monster moves. So a lot of times we'll do that rundown, but of course we had our guest, which obviously was a wealth of experience there and a wealth of information. But Upstart would have been on that list. Now, Upstart, crazy breakout after earnings. It looked like it was heading to the downside, at least initially. I'll zoom out so you can sort of see gap up. Looked like it was heading to the downside. We had some wins to the short side, then got blown up through the top and said, wait for 150. 150 came, it retraced into VWAP, and now post-Fed minutes, we are bouncing back towards that 150 high. Now, alert to anybody watching the daily chart, if it breaks 150, I said this in the morning show as well, you've got 10% room to about 165, the next significant level on Upstart. And that to me means that is a heck of a level. I think it's worth a shot if it goes back up there again to re-up at that 150. But I want to see, like last time it took out 150, went 16 pennies and immediately rejected. That's what got me into the short, not just standing in front of that like a moving freight train. It almost has to break the level, show me another failed break, and then you can get in. That's just, it's not an easier way to take the trade. It just feels like you've shaken out some of the shorts, some of the weaker hands, and on top of that, possibly trapped some longs. You know, another thing Peter Schiff said about the zero-sum games, that's part of the market when you're short-term trading as well. Think about at a price level, what is the counterparty? Who's on the other side of that trade, and how can you use that to your advantage? Anything that's 34% to the upside, if you trap longs that high, it's a much better short as their stops go off and trigger the wins.
Bang! There we go. Nice little win there. 13's out for Palantir. Like, there's a dime right there on a $14 stock about as quickly as you can get it right there back to the upside. Easy, easy trading here. And we're just celebrating that. You know, because it's a win. Win's a win. And we will take that here today as, yeah, we are like cruising right now. A firm rallying. Okay, let's have a quick look over there. One name that we are small negative on today. And again, you can ask if you want if we're negative on anything. AMD, we are negative. We did go long into here before it dropped down. Good thing we got out at 117. It made a bottom of 114. Wow. Now we're well off. I was wishing that we were still at this VWAP, but VWAP in the 50 period now crossing. So we can call that the people's cross, the VWAP and the 50 period. So it already made that move. Might be an indicator to go long, but I need to do work on the people's cross as an indicator as I just made it up. What's up, Brandon?
Val.
Yep, Val.
Brandon looks different. Hey guys, what a busy day. S&P 500 and NASDAQ are back to the positive territory. We had a wonderful guest and interview which didn't left anyone indifferent. So I'm sure we deserve much more likes. Guys, we have 3,800 people watching and only 700 likes. So if you didn't like this video yet, please do so right now. It's absolutely free and we need your help. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Ms. V. You got Nuracle, and we're on topic here, so we'll answer this question. We have Peter Schiff on mine as well. Do we believe NFTs are a bubble? I know it's not a stock question, just wondering. My personal take is it's not whether things are a bubble, it's whether you believe that the bubble will pop. I think most of everything is a bubble, in the sense that where we're getting asset appreciation has to do with money creation. You cannot pretend that that's not true. So when the Fed balance sheet goes from 3 trillion to 9 trillion and money's being created out of nowhere, does it mean that asset prices are going to go up? Yes. Does that mean that alternative sources of, I guess, growth against inflation, which a lot of times is art and collectibles, are they going to make a bit of a rally historically when you have, you know, sort of these valuation crunches come in and things start tightening up with the Fed? A lot of times that's true. People talk about fine art for a long time. So that does cause it to go up, which is like a bubble inflating. The question becomes, do you actually think it's going to pop? That's one that I don't, like, there's two ends to that question. I would say it would be popping for the simple fact that it's brand new, and usually it's just like crypto. You have a bubble pop and the things settle down and then they go back to the upside. But when you look at fine art and when you look historically, what art is done in some senses, that's usually been a pretty good appreciating place to store value, especially for high net worth. So I think it falls to a bit of those categories. I don't think anyone really knows that answer, but it's not about whether it's a bubble, because inflating bubbles is how this market and how asset appreciation has worked for 100 years. The question becomes, do you actually think it's going to make a pop? Logic would dictate that, just like cryptos, they probably have to have a severe pullback in order to make that next move up. But these are all brand new.
So to answer the question, I am in line right now for Super Bowl NFTs. So I'm in line right now. Hopefully I can grab one. It's $59 a pack. We'll see if we get some of those. So, I mean, I believe it for fun. It's great for fun. And if you're not going to put in that much money and you're going to try to take a shot at it, then I think it's worth it for NFTs. Look, I own a Wall Street Bull. The wife and I own some horses. She's racing them on Zed Run, made some money there and had a lot of fun doing that as well. And look, if it takes off, I'll be there and make money. You know, it is what it is. We have a friend that made a couple $100 million on Ethereum.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, a couple $100 million on Ethereum, right? That was a shot in the dark, right? What the hell is Ethereum? When he put his money in, anyone could have, right?
I was in the car with him.
Right, so let's wait to see what happens with NFTs. I'm not going to miss that boat, period, right? We bought Cardano sub. I remember on the show, I was like, hey, Brendan, let's get an update on Cardano. Oh, Sean, it's 17 cents. You know, like I remember that on this show. Your boy was loading it up. The thing went to $3, right? So I'm with everybody, man. The market's a bubble. The earth is a damn bubble, okay? The point is that you're going to have to get eventually.
Whoa.
Well, eventually our earth, I mean, come on. You see what's happening with the environment.
You're right.
Okay, thanks.
It doesn't last. It doesn't last forever.
Yeah. Okay. So the earth is a bubble. And the point is that, you know, getting to everything, look, have fun while you're there, make smart investments, understand what you're getting into. I think that is the number one thing. Like, if someone wants to buy my DeMar DeRozan for me for 50 grand, have it, okay? It doesn't mean that there's not a price for everything.
He's on fire.
It is what it is, okay? So that's what we're doing right now. Man, my Philadelphia 76ers pick ain't looking good. I sent a tweet to our friend here, and I showed yesterday that they lost by 50 yesterday with Harden on the bench. Come on, Brad, get your boy Harden going. I got a hungy on that one for them to win the East.
Play when he plays.
So we'll see what that is. The most dominant two-guard last year. Let's see if he can do it this year.
He's got it's funny you say that, and you just mentioned DeRozan. Like, does anybody realize how great a bloody season he's having?
He is the first Chicago Bull since Michael Jordan to go 5 games in a row over 35 points. So your boy knows basketball.
Shout out to the Bulls, former Raptor, by the way, as well.
Former Raptor, great. Yeah. DeMar DeRozan.
Top five. He's on the Mount Rushmore.
Top 5 Raptors?
He's on the Mount Rushmore.
He's top 3. There's only it's VC, it's Kyle Lowry, and it's him. Yeah. That's it, period. 3 top Raptors there. Okay, let's move on.
I put Kawhi in my top 5.
Kawhi is by far the biggest game changer for Raptors. And he would be on there. But not all time, though. Not all time Raptor great. All time biggest impact in Raptor history.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to point out.
I would put T-Mac ahead of Kawhi on Mount Rushmore for us, but only because he spent 4 or 5 years. If we had Kawhi 1 more year, but I'd put Masai Ujiri.
We'd had back-to-back.
Masai Ujiri. I mean, that guy pulls the trigger on that Kawhi trade.
Never question him.
And brings the ring back home. So
if you got a decision maker who just every time people are like, that doesn't make any sense, and then it works, don't question him ever again.
I remember getting
just
pissed
pay the
off.
man.
Probably even messaged you, like when we drafted Scotty Barnes. Like, we weren't supposed to take him. He was not the 4th overall.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure I said chill, Winston. He's a good player.
Oh, no, he was supposed to go 5.
I love his game.
He was supposed to go 5. We took him 4, but I'm saying we stepped outside of the box and took him. I really didn't see anyone calling Scotty Barnes at 3 or 4.
No, they like Suggs.
Or 3. What do we have? Yeah, they like Suggs.
So the market's
Suggs doing, anyways?
He's actually having a good season.
I haven't paid attention.
But he's not as good as Barnes.
All right.
So we talked. It was weird because we talked
Chris
about
Bosh. We forgot about Chris Bosh. Wow.
Well,
Chris Bosh ahead of T-Mac for sure. My bad. That was my bad.
I can't put that.
My kid has a Bosh jersey. I can't believe I forgot.
I have a Vince jersey.
What was I doing? I forgot about Chris Bosh there. Wow.
That's tough to do. But I want to go back to AMAT for a second, just because we were talking chips at one point today, I think.
What does it mean when they say Sean going all shift on the chat?
Going shift is basically just like just taking it to the hole.
Okay,
It's like
okay.
you're dominating the rock.
Right, you're looking for that foul.
Pulling an Alonzo Mourning. Did you know Alonzo
okay.
Mourning, the first 21 times he touched the ball in the NBA,
a block?
he either shot the ball or turned it over.
Okay.
21 touches without passing the rock.
Sounds like Kobe.
Oh, Alonzo. Anyways, I don't know why I knew that, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm trying to say AMAT blew up for some reason going into earnings at 2 o'clock and then made a double top and is looking super strong, up 1%. So we saw what happened with, I'm not saying this is going to be an Upstart situation, but Upstart did the exact opposite. So let's not forget, don't read too much into earnings moves. I'm not going to show you today. You got to see yesterday. Don't read too much into what happens at 2 o'clock predicting earnings. It feels like someone just made a bet that blew up on them and they got stopped out. Maybe they had too much exposure. Who knows? And then some stops got triggered. Clearly, it was not indicative of what was going to happen next in Upstart because selling, and this is a monster volume spike. I think it was about 200,000 shares went off down below 100 when it broke. And then, testing $150 today. So, yeah, that was not a predictor of what was going to happen next. I like to think AMAT's going to beat, but that little spike is not necessarily the trigger that it's going to happen.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, so thanks, guys. We're getting in trouble for something with the milk carafe. Are you doing something with that milk carafe, Neil, in the kitchen there? We're getting in trouble for it. I think someone's not attaching it properly overnight there. So,
I drink my coffee black. You know that ain't me, man.
Yep. Because once you go black, you sometimes go back.
I don't have to say it. It just is.
Yep. All right. So there you go. We are now. Okay. We are. I mean, what else? Right here, against this 06. Look, Palantir's right at its 50 period one more time. So we're going to be in this one, like I say, for a time, not just a long time. As there it goes, we just got a little bit of a bump up there in this market with size coming to the upside right there for Palantir. So if we can, let's get a little piece out again. Okay, there it is. Just got hit there at 09s. So we're long at 07 on a reload. We'll look to get some more out here at 11. Why not even 10 if we can? We'll take a piece out at 10 here. Come on, let's hit that. And then we'll start to go to the upside, hopefully more and more as we do buy some more Palantir here. This time would be pretty sweet to see if we can get the majority of them out up here near 14, 18 or something like that. But again, we need the market to participate. Remember, it's Palantir earnings tonight. So you don't, or tomorrow morning, you don't necessarily want to be involved too much when it's earnings, but if someone knows something, hopefully they know that it's going to be good and they will bump this to the high side. But right now, Palantir just literally moving 1 penny at a time.
And I see you, trader, formerly known as Jude. Moderna, I fought Moderna the other day and actually lost. But yeah, I see the top you're talking about, that 152. All I will point out is it's broken that 152 a couple of times. So much like we were just talking about Upstart, that 150 level. Sometimes you got to let it go a little bit. And that's the same thing here. In the afternoon yesterday, you broke this 152, got up to 153, and then had a reversal. Now, the thing about Moderna that kind of troubles me about that level is when you had that monster capitulation flush to start the week, and that is the only way to describe it, the very next day it held support and broke out. And then today, the day after that, it then holds afternoon support. This is pre-market highs, afternoon support, same level, 145. It holds that in the morning and is now grinding towards a 152, 153 top. A lot of times, that means it's trying to hold support after that and then break back out to maybe fill some of this gap. So there are a lot of signs that if you catch this short the first time, great. The second time through late in the day, it can be good for rollover, but have yourself a bit of a stop because that put in a pretty hard double bottom there. It doesn't mean that's not valid resistance, but that is a pretty bullish move. And I know I was in that short in the morning there. It would have worked out if I held it, but that doesn't mean it was the right decision. You see, made the wick bottom and then absolutely screaming to the upside. Kind of a strong 2 days there for Moderna.
Oh man, we thought that it would be super. What do we think it would be cold or warm in here? I can't remember what we thought it would be today. Because warm. Because that's right. Because you were saying it was warm yesterday. 8 degrees outside here in lovely Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So we'll say, oh Canada. For that one,
there's a butt there,
8 degrees going up to I think 12 or 13, but we may have peaked here because I think tomorrow it goes back down to negative or tonight. So yeah, thanks for that one.
And it rains, melts all the snow that's accumulated, and then it goes back to like -10, and then freeze it all. So there's ice everywhere. You're slipping and sliding. Welcome to life in Canada, man. It's just, but we love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You can tell, right?
Well, with the wind chill there, Goldman, I think I think Goldman is from Montreal, maybe, or are you from Toronto? Can't remember. We have a lot of viewers here. Yeah, Marlin is Montreal, I believe. Yeah, good call there. 40 degrees in Michigan, so I think we have you beat there. 77 there in Miami. Miami wins.
I love Miami.
80 in Florida,
South
you win.
Beach.
I am looking to make some trips, so yeah, I don't know if we'll go to Cancun, we'll go somewhere Mexico, something like that in the next couple months. So I'm going to take the kids. My kids have never been on a plane, so they're going to go on one very, very soon. Now that some of the vaccine limitations and whatnot have been raised, and not only the vaccine, but now Canada, some more countries, being a little nicer to travel right now. So we'll do that soon. And yeah, maybe we'll come to Florida. I don't know. They want to go to Disneyland, but I'm not spending that kind of cash.
World.
There. We'll wait
Disney World.
for that one. Yeah, World or Land or
I'm
whatever.
a stickler.
Whatever the heck.
They're both great for kids. I haven't been in so long.
I've been twice, but as a kid, of course. And then, we'll go on for there. Okay, Palantir, good out there. We got one out at 13 sorry, off the long. So we've just been sort of milking this here. It's good trade there again, literally reloaded. We had a very small piece left, reloaded it again. And now I'm just holding out for that upside so we can watch that. Ford, again, we took that trade. We're 2 for 2, with trades for you here tonight or this afternoon, as well as that interview. Ford, what a great trade. We took that right in front of you guys as well, down here at 17. All the way to the upside goes Ford. I just wish I could get into AMD. AMD needs to come a little bit down further into like 116.70, something like that down in this area, and we will push the button on the long there as well. But as Peter Schiff said, if there's heroin in this market, mine is the buy key. So I got to stay away and make sure that we make the right calls at the right time for this. So Apple still, wow. Come at the king, man. Like Apple back up to 173 again. Obviously today up on Apple, 4 times more aggressive than the market. That's kind of cherry picking because the market's only up 0.4 and that's 0.18. But you could see a nice little move back upside, man. That JPOW, I told you JPOW was going to rally this market. I just wish I would have believed in that and wasn't, well, I could have gone long and then just done the trade of the day up there. But look at Apple off JPOW, bang, up $3 almost straight up for Jerome Powell's Apple.
So Greg just asked me so how was the interview? I think he was doing some interviews himself, but I'm just trying to fill him on how crazy it was. I'm still in that hood trade, but I'm going to make a bit of adjustment. I just showed you guys where my stop was above that high of the day. It just made it holds 1350 on the breakout. That's where it broke out. It holds 1350 there. Now it's busted back up to 1367. I'm actually going to move my stop a little bit tighter so this cannot be a losing trade. Going to pop it down from breaking 80 to breaking 70s. That way we're locking in that profit. So adjusting the stop live on hood as we just see the market go back to the high of the day, and we're putting in a lower high on Robinhood. So I want to make sure we're locking in that profit. It's still relatively weak, which I like.
Great opportunity to talk about trading headlines or breaking news, and more specifically, guys, understanding what risks come along with that. We had a market event happen this afternoon, so let's take a second and give some pretty good tips on how we can maybe control risk better around breaking news and headline risk.
It's almost as if we timed this one perfectly. So we had the Fed meeting minutes come out today, so I'm going to be able to show you what was happening in the queues. Now, obviously, for this type of an event, it's not necessarily a headline or just a bullet point like an economic number. You're going to be digesting some data and digesting the text. But there are some things that you can glean from the price action. The first thing is establish the range. What was the range going into it? Because there's a good chance you can test it. You had the Qs with a 350 bottom here, and then in the all afternoon, you had a top at about 353. So you had a $3 range going into this move. Yes, you had an initial breakout to the upside. It tried to get past 353, but immediately snapped back. What you then put in is, okay, so it broke the high barely and then tries to come back in here. This is very, very common on big headlines, especially around the Fed, but it then held support. From that point, I think it can tell you once you find the support at the previous low that it's overall strength. It did not run the stops at the low of the day the same way it ran stops at that resistance level at 353, puts in a higher low as well, and then starts to break out. If you're trying to trade within that range, it's very tricky to actually have a stop there. You've got to give it some room, but the sign of strength in this particular case was running stops through the highs, and when it tried to do the same thing back, It had a wick bottom, did not take out that low, and then starts to go. You don't always have to trade right when the headline comes out. You can allow it to make a bit of a range, make a decision, whether you're here going long on a bit of a dip and a consolidation, or maybe you're just waiting for the top to be taken again now that you've formed a bit of a bias. That's the first thing you can do. The other thing I'll always caution is if you're in trades going into that, understand this whippy action can happen. So you might want to consider, do I need to be getting flat? Do I need to be having a tighter stop going into it? And do not leave orders out into the market at faraway prices in front of a major event. Unless it's part of your trading plan, it's a good way to court disaster.
And double check all your stop orders as well, like I do right now. But what about this? I'm going to have oil up here. And I mean, my tip is how to prepare for major headlines is just know what you're trading and know what you're looking at. And it's just as easy as that. So I'm going to talk about oil ripped up here. We touched $96 on Russia news. You know, looks like that was when Putin was like, hey, man, you know, we're not going to pull back from them. There was like it's when they were set up that big, huge desk. And then all of a sudden it came out and was like, oh, maybe, you know, things have eased here. We had Joe Biden come out and talk. We had some of the diplomats come out and talk about Russia and Ukraine, things like that. So, whoops. There we go. Back in right now. So we'll see about this. Making these news for the bottom and then right back up. And then today, less fears about Russia again. So my tip is really just as simple as it can possibly be. And that is understand what you're trading and then just go over to that. If you're waiting for Russia headlines, why? Don't even go to equity markets, man. Oil's trading 24 hours. You can go over there, hit up the NYMEX or electronically traded and trade something that's sensitive to oil. So know what your headline is. That's my tip.
I love the headlines. I love the news. So I had to jump in there a little early. No, great tips, guys. We have to understand exactly what is happening before it happens. Obviously, you're not going to know the news when it does come out, but have an understanding of where we can go overall. That's a little bit, guys, a few tips on how to control your risk during a headline. Let's continue along. I just saw a note on PCAR, PCAR, just popping up on volume there on a battery deal with Kenworth, it looks like. That's Fisker. I was looking at Fisker as well because, hey, they're reporting aftermarket tonight, guys.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, we're going to get to the earnings board, but it's a doozy today. That's the word. The only word you can use. It's a little bit hectic. You've got to make sure you hammer down the names that you like there, because we were talking. Actually, no, it was Trader Prad that was talking about. Now it won't load. Fiverr here. That just loaded Fisker when I put in Fiverr. But Fiverr down 10% going into their earnings. There's so much moving. And look, when you move 10 points going into earnings that day, that's a sign of volatility to come. So you might want to put that bad boy in your watch list. It doesn't mean you have to trade it. It just means when I come in the morning or going over the charts at night, you pay attention to what happens, and then this will be on the list in case we have some intriguing levels to work off of, because you have a wide range. Support to resistance on this is a good $30, and it's basically trading half of that in just today's session in front of those earnings. So Fiverr should be an interesting one to be sure.
Yeah, we like Fiverr. I mean, I like a lot of those names coming through today. Fisker is one that we'll watch out for. 30% short interest on Fisker. So you definitely want to have a look there if you are looking for anything. And, you know, if that's going to be 30% short interest, and again, see, your boy's doing the research, looking for something. I almost bought options on this thing here. Look at Fisker. It's nicely, oh, no. I got this chart issue one more time, but this is not its IPO price or anything. It's been down here before. Again, it's just going to be talking really about their deliveries. We know that they don't have anything right now, but I believe it was November of this year that they were looking to finally start rolling some cars out. They obviously have the Pope Mobile. We don't buy anything because of the Pope Mobile, but that should be cruising around pretty soon. We'll wait to hear when that is. And look, that sounds silly, but honestly, guys, like if the Pope Mobile can come down and just give more advertising to Fisker, then yeah, I'll take that as bullish. But we'll wait to see what happens with Fisker. I don't expect much. They're going to talk about some supply chain issues. But the board is jacked up. And I mean, the one that everyone I think is going to be excited about, if you're not already, is going to be NVIDIA, because they're going to come with something tonight. And we'll just wait to see where it's going to go. It's been violent, man. I mean, NVIDIA just 3 days, Valentine's Day, I guess. Here, yeah, this is the AM of Valentine's Day. 230, 235, 236. Today, up $30 from that. So 2 days later, instead of buying flowers, buy one share of NVIDIA, and then you're nicely in the money now. You make that $30. So nice move upside for NVIDIA, and we'll just see. Like, if they clear this 270, you could be off to the races here on NVIDIA. I like the play. I like AMD. I like NVIDIA. I like all of them. And then here, I'm trying to get it so we don't have to worry about this because that's the pre-split, and our charts don't show that. But we're just trying to take out the 50 period right now on NVIDIA. So yeah, I think if we do that and we hover around here and you get north of 300, then you're not that far away from all-time highs of 340. So I'm excited for NVIDIA, and I'm excited a lot.
Yeah, those chips, I mean, look, they've all been beating. I think that's the big sign. I mean, if one of the biggest growth names were to miss when everybody else is showing good numbers, that would be a pretty big shock to the markets. What was a bit of a shock this morning was what happened in Shopify. Like, I mean, they beat top and bottom, and then the guidance was poor, and they were down about 5%. It's like, okay, well, 5%, that feels like that could be reasonable. It was, it was a big move, but what happened at the open, well, what happened before 9 o'clock and then again at the open, definitely some acceleration. So it was just stair-stepping down. But when liquidity came out of it, both before 9 and then at the open, just instant drop through 800, it was almost too fast to take any trades. It's now made a significant bottom at $720. As crazy as that sounds, did not think it by any stretch of the imagination we get to that price. And is trying to break back out above 740. So this one, not always on the day trading radar, but man, it's got to go there after putting in these lows at 720. If you traded in Toronto, I mean, you can, but certainly some of the levels we'll be referencing are going to be off of the NASDAQ. Although that same corresponding level, you're breaking 1,000 in Toronto at the open, which I think might have added to some of that slippage, because people probably had stop orders at 1,000 in Toronto, and then you had 800 stops here in the U.S. You double barrel action on Shopify, but 720. If it holds that again tomorrow, that 740 breakout could be pretty sweet.
All right, let's just have a quick look here at what we're doing with Palantir. Actually, we just got out of Palantir. It must have broke 05 there quickly on me there, and did it? Yeah, it did. So in and out there at 05. So 05 breaks. Oh man, ripped right back up. That sucks. So we can watch out for that one. Too bad, because we just got stopped out there. Did size show back up? What happened there? No, so 05 broke and we got out. Obviously, we should still be in this name, but maybe we'll get back in if it retests those lows one more time. It broke 5 and then ripped to 10, so I should still be in it. But I did have that tight stop there, so we'll lose on that one. But what is still cruising and about to take out this little breach high is 807 and 808 right now printing. So Ford, can we test back up to the upside? We still have a piece of this.
No boom?
Wish we had it all. 330, no what?
Boom like an 808?
No, I missed that one. No boom like an 808. What is that from?
It was like, I can't remember the group, but it was definitely a 90s. That was a song in the 90s, or maybe the
I remember 808s and Heartbreak. Shout out to Trader Pratt over there. Current hip hop with Kanye, but that's at least 10 years old now, I think.
That is actually
808s and Heartbreak,
yeah,
but
that's not that.
Kanye, man, wow, love that guy.
That's new to me. Like, new to me is like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. Like, some of the stuff now, I can't. I can't.
I mean, J. Cole just dropped an album last.
I know, but like, yeah, but he's not that new. That's sort of what I'm getting. Like, anybody that debuted in the last 2 or 3 years, I probably don't know them. That's the thing. Like, just at some point, like, there's so much good music out there. I know I'm old. I say it all the time. I got gray hair. I'm old. And why are there always questions about how many push-ups I can do, full-range push-ups? I don't actually try to do them push-ups for volume. But I have said this before. Last year, my resolution was to do the Bring Sally Up. If you ever watched the video, it's like putting yourself through torture. It's like a cadence to do push-ups. And I could not get through the entire video. I'm still going to try and do it this year. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll be able to do the entire 3.5-minute song. I got halfway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you saying something about that.
It's really, it's really hard. I almost cursed. It's stupid hard. And you're basically torturing yourself by trying it. You can do it for like squats, because that's like air squats. But push-ups, woo, that's a challenge. Uber was one name that I just wanted this at 36. It just keeps coming down to like 36, 35. 36.25. I don't think we're going to get to play off that level I want today, which is perfectly fine. You can always be a bit more patient. Virgin Galactic, I'm still in it. It's still technically working, but we're right back up into VWAP. At the end here, the market just boomed to the upside, and there's not much you can do about it. Like, your trade can be right in terms of your thesis and your direction, but guess what? 2 o'clock came. It never pushed out of the money, but it slowed up the progress. So I'm going to have to put a trail in at some point at that 10.25 mark, and then see if we can maybe just get back down in here to $10. Like that push to 9.50, that was, no matter what, it either happened before 2 o'clock or it needed the market to fall down. There's no way you're going to go through a 250-point push on the NASDAQ, and even the weakest name is going to get a bump. So that's what you saw happen here in Virgin Galactic. The short's still fine. You just got to temper your expectations when we get a move like that.
Yeah, the market is starting to head southbound here, so we're just going to double check to make sure we don't have too many scripts left back out there as this market is, definitely starting to crack lower and lower here and trying to break. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just we're not making those new highs. Remember I gave you, and we didn't have Arun on the show today, but I gave you that futures level of 14,400 early, and it looks like we did hold that. We were testing that early off right when the market opened up there as well, 14,400. So let's keep that in mind for forward-looking statements here on the market maybe. So 14,400, we'll keep that. And I don't think we tank down there right now, but if this market comes out with an imbalance to the sell side, you could see some nastiness here. So watch out for that. You never know where this market might take us. So that's just another level for me anyways to be concerned with there. And then other than that, not much else to talk about right now. I'm looking to go long on something, but with this market imbalance coming out, I don't really have too much. I'm looking at Palantir. We do expect earnings. Well, not we expect. We do have earnings coming out on PLTR. So I'm sort of keeping it up here just to see, because I've seen a lot of size get thrown around here today on PLTR, and I want to be able to see it. Like if someone all of a sudden shows up, Aunt Kathy would be nice, showing up here at 03 with a couple million shares to buy, then I want to see that so that I can smoke the bid or the ask, whatever way it's going, to take that trade as well. So we'll wait. I don't know if it's going to happen now or later, but you don't buy a stock like Palantir that is one of those growth companies ahead of earnings. If you're going to play this with serious money, I would wait. Just wait to see what happens tomorrow, because we've come in. I mean, look at Upstart today. I mean, you want to talk about something violent there, and I know Neil traded it, so he knows exactly how violent this thing was. But great. So you're long here, 109. It's great because it goes all the way to 150. So there's no doubt about that. But just off the open, like it's 131. Then it's up to 140. Then it's back down to 132 again. Then it goes up to 143. Then it comes right back down to 136. So remember, these is like $10 on 140 or so. It's not about 10%, it's a little less than that. But if you're going to get those kind of swings, expect that just market wide on your names, especially for these confusing stocks right now that we just don't go on numbers. It's not like you can read the report and know what Upstart's going to do. You have to wait. Remember, everyone saw that leak on a firm and thought, oh, this is great, because they said, oh, increase in users, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, of course they have an increase in customers. They're Amazon. They have so many opportunities. Doesn't mean they're making money. So sometimes you have to look forward to the guide, look to the EPS, see what's happening. So we'll wait to see that on Palantir tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like everything has been about forward looking. That's just the reality in this market, especially if you're a growth name. Going to go back to Robinhood, because got to keep updating this. The market's trying to roll over at that high, which does mean this is working in the money. We've been happy for this trade. And it's like Hood and Hook are the two that have worked in the afternoon. I mean, I've been in Virgin Galactic the whole time. Those two are the ones we've actually traded since we came back on. But when it works for you in the money here, I want to be holding into those imbalances, but I'm going to continuously tighten up the stop. So I've already done that once. I'm now looking back to this little peak. We did another rollover. I'll give it to like this 1360 to 65 area. So I'm just going to keep sort of moving that target. It can't turn into a losing trade, but we're also running against the clock. If you're just tuning in, you can see our positions are below, but you can see like the purple arrow, that's a short, covering, and the green arrow that's up, that's when you're buying back. But sort of also, we're flat at the end of the day. Sean and I are just day trading. So no matter what, no matter how good the position is, no matter how much you love it, heck, man, you can be long Upstart from like 100. It's just we have to be flat by 4 o'clock, so no overnight, which does mean even if it looks good, you do have to cash that one in or take the hit, whatever it might be. Hopefully in this case, I don't somehow miss my stop and turn it into a hit. And speaking of going over these positions, one of our users, and it's almost criminal that we actually don't remember who came up with this term, barcoding. You hear us say it all the time, probably use it too much. Hook is barcoding. It did make a flush after that wick high to 240, but this is barcoding. It's off of this VWAP here in a 3 or 4 cent range. It's in the money, but it refuses to fall. What I'm going to have to do with this as well is tighten the stop up, maybe give it back to the previous high. I can zoom out to show you. This is what that 215 level looked like. Post-market, Hook, This is all morning long holding that 215 level. So at this point, if it wants to hold below that, I move my stop down to 215 and then see if it can still flush down to 192, where I've essentially been bidding since, I can actually see, since 301.
All right, Hook, yeah, I haven't looked at that one. I know there's some talk there on the chat about El Capitan there, so watch out for that trade coming through. Just a quick little look here, as we did have Peter Schiff, and I want to thank him for coming on. Go back to about 2:35 or so if you want to see that interview. Thanks to Brendan for that as well. Great interview there. Okay, let's just go over to our portfolio here and see what's popping, as I had to relog back into this. So here it is. All right, CoinGecko here coming through. Cardano, just looking here, 44,000 for Bitcoin right now. Ethereum, 31.6, not bad. Ripple taking out some of these levels as well. 83, Ripple up today. Everything's pretty much up today. This is the 24 hours. Avalanche done well, 10% in the last 7 days. Solana's there. That's the one that I've been buying on dips, of course. We talked about that, and I want to get more Matic in there as well. Stellar's there. Decentraland. I thought I had Mana on here. There it is. Mana up. Again, 332 up 4%. And I don't know what's up with this one, Rally. It's one that I was watching as well, up 62%. More homework necessary to figure that out. But that's your crypto review, sponsored by temporarily nobody. So we'll see if we can get that going. But here we go.
Peter Schiff.
Yeah, sponsored by Peter Schiff. Yeah.
Well, definitely not Charlie Munger. Actually, you know what? I'll credit to you for not actually saying what he did call.
I just said disease.
Yeah, he likened it to a very specific disease, Charlie Munger, and that's talking about Bitcoin. So kudos to you for not actually saying it. I have never heard anybody refer to any type of asset or investment with that term. You can look it up and see it. I'm not going to repeat it myself. I want to talk about Corsair for a quick second here. It's actually holding up 10%. Strong move for this, being added to, and I want to make sure I get it right because I think it was the S&P. It's a small cap. It was a 600. That's right. Just wanted to double check. It was from this morning. It was on our watch list. It's a really good sign when the news doesn't get sold on something like this. I was looking to maybe buy the dip all morning long, and it just never actually broke the low to give you those great prices to buy. It's holding up pretty nicely. So it's in the midst of obviously a multi-day break here. When you look at that support, I wanted to buy at 225. You can kind of tell that here in the daily chart. That would have been good. So this should also be on the radar for tomorrow's action. At this point, sort of sitting, adjusting stops, letting what's working run in the money for us here, and then get geared up for what we think could be a fireworks at the close. And look, imbalances I think can be a thing here. I might be like you watching Palantir, just because yesterday someone was stuffing those 500,000 share orders on Palantir in the offer, and right now there's 200,000 on the offer. Somebody just keeps throwing these orders out there and taking the fill. Like, they're not messing around. Like, they're not throwing this order to be like, oh, I'm spoofing the level 2. No, they're sitting on the offer. There's 200,000, yeah, right there, 200,000 shares. They're taking the fill if they get it, and they've been doing this since yesterday in the afternoon. So somebody either is building a big short or making some kind of a ridiculous hedge. It's too many shares to be a hedge. So maybe they're shorting, maybe they're selling into earnings. Who knows?
But they're going to break and rip up anyway.
They're getting filled every time. Like, trust me, like, it does 50 million shares, by the way. So anybody hunting for liquidity when the stock is doing 50 million, it doesn't mean it has to run away from that price. It can still get filled. They just took that fill live.
Yeah, we tried. I mean, I just tried to short in front of that size, and then it got. I mean, as soon as I was like, oh, it's just going to break, and we got out right away. So back and forth here on Palantir. Just there's nothing. We need to wait for these imbalances. It's like playing off of size now. We thought that we would have a look and hopefully see some decent size, but honestly, there's not much happening. Let's just see what's happening with Microsoft right now. I could just go back to Roblox. I'm thinking right now is probably the safest bet. So, but right now, yeah, Microsoft. Oh, a good dip buy opportunity there at 299. Wow. And this is why I'm upset. We are hell along down here at 294. It's only $6 in the money, up to 300 there. But yeah, wow, good move there for Softy. We'll look at that one more time again as that's coming through. And you see what I mean about Palantir? We were short 05, and now look, now it's back down. So, we get out at 06 on the break right there, in and out quickly, and then it just comes back down to the downside one more time. So bye-bye for Palantir, now moving back down. I said we'd check out Roblox. I think it's near, yeah. So it is back near the low of the day again, 53.50. Obviously, that 53 was golden. If anybody went long there, you're able to, enjoy that to the upside. But if we zoom in just a little bit more, just to see what exactly is happening, the bottom of 53.50 right now, I don't know. I guess, again, this is a New York name, so we're going to be able to watch out for the imbalances coming out because Roblox could be on there pretty significant. So we'll wait to see if they want to hold these bottoms now in Roblox 53. If it comes out a big sell, I definitely worried about that. So, hey, let's take a short now into Roblox. It's bouncing off this level. I think we can hold this. The high rate now, 53.70. Let's take a short and see if it works on Roblox.
So I know you mentioned SoFi this morning. I don't know if we got talked about it in the afternoon, but if you're looking for something relatively strong, I mean, the market is, I guess the NASDAQ's barely green, the ES up 1/3%, but SoFi up 4%, even in that last pullback, holding near the high. I mean, the caution of maybe taking it up here is you do have some resistance up at like 1340 when you pop the 15-minute chart up, and then it looks even more interesting at maybe 1350. On the daily, that's multi-level. That's a multi-day potential breakout on something like a SoFi. It's been making higher lows. It is grinding into a nice little wedge there. It's relatively strong today. As a growth name, does it need the help of the overall market? Yeah, probably on most days it's going to have that. But I'm seeing some relative strength in SoFi. There's no breakout yet, but the breakout certainly is imminent. And that's the thing. Like sometimes you come in, you look for those levels, and you can get signs of where they might be, and then just jot it down. Be prepared for it. Another one that I'm going to be interested in, and we talk about things that after the day they report, but sometimes you look at the close. Oh goodness, now it doesn't want to load backed.
Boo.
Yeah, anyways, backed, can be a pretty volatile name. They're going to be on the earnings list. Another one that I want to watch going into the close because it's been on an absolute tear, like tripling basically in the last couple of weeks here, tripling and having all kinds of room to run in either direction, and that's the key. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you back is going to go to the moon. All I'm telling you is it's basically tripled in a very short period of time, and you have made a defined $9 top here just recently, close to a double top, but not quite. So this is another super volatile name that I'll be all over looking to trade tomorrow in trade. And I know it's down here today. That's why I look at that $9 as resistance, because it absolutely ran away from it in this morning's trade.
Okay, so I switched over the thought here on Palantir. The move seems to be to the downside for right now, so we're going to try to give it back here to this 1405. And again, we're not really getting thrown around here or anything. It's just, we're trying to play off some of these levels. We do have only 5 minutes now before it comes out. I don't know why I'm stuck on this name. There's other names moving around, but as I look, I'm trying to look at Fisker. We talked about them coming through with earnings, not moving right now. Let's look at Tesla quickly here as the imbalances are getting ready to come out, 922. And I'm just trying to get money in on opportunities that I think are legit. Tesla right now, I mean, if we could go back to the high, maybe 925, and patience is king, right? So if you could sit here and be patient and wait for some of these trades, then yeah, 925 on Tesla, that break, or not even 925, just at this point, you're so close, you might as well use the high of the day here, 926.50 or so. So if that breaks, then that could be a screaming long for you there in Tesla, especially if these imbalances, and look, the NASDAQ, this is why, again, I'm not happy being short here, Palantir, because look at the NASDAQ. We're above this 50 period. So to me, that's still bullish. We've bounced off it right there. So unless this number comes out horribly to the sell side, oh, here we go. Okay, now the market's starting to go down. We'll have to watch out. There is, possibility, obviously, for a bid imbalance. So we have to be very, very careful with how we pick and choose some of these trades here today. So Palantir just back and forth now. It just touched again there, 90, or not, that wasn't 96, but 98, 96, 97 there on that. So hopefully we can withhold this until the imbalances, and then we'll see if Palantir is a buyer or sell at that point, guys.
Yeah, I was just asked, Erie was asking, what am I looking at for the imbalances? Look, these are sort of informed guesses based on volatility and the order flow. So I'd say, Palantir, obviously, NVIDIA, obviously. I'd throw Upstart in there just because of the sheer volatility that it had and what we saw, someone that stop out in the afternoon, and then the run it had here today, almost squeezing in some levels. That's going to be on that list. One that I'm now kicking myself because I was all over wanting to trade Hood and Hook, both those two names in the afternoon. I got both of them, but I did totally forget about Viacom. Viacom got destroyed this morning and just trending to the downside. The first and only level of resistance was $29.50 at 9:35. So then craters another $1.50 and then just starts screaming to the upside. And then what do you get? The wick off top to $29.50. And that's essentially already your move. There's no trade I mean, there might be. I don't think there's a trade to be had. Imbalances in 3 minutes. You're taking it in front of 50. It doesn't break it. It already pulls back in the first consolidation, and you could be holding it into the money. Taking the trade now, risk to reward, doesn't make any sense. I've tightened up every single stop in the 3 names that I have, and we're only holding the last piece of each of them. Virgin Galactic now trailed to 1020. My stop order is actually aggressive enough that my limit price is up to 31. I've trailed Hook, and I've also trailed Robinhood. All 3 of them, despite the fact that the market is essentially breaking back out and at those highs, all 3 of them are relatively weak. Like, that's the key. Like, you don't want to be shorting something that's super strong into a booming market, but trailing stops on all 3. If it goes in my favor, I got my bids out there, so hopefully we can get picked up at 350. Not saying that I hope the market goes to the downside, just these 3 names.
And why not? Yeah, let's see if the market goes to the downside or not. We still are here in Ford as that's at the high side right now. I'm just trying to hold out, man. We have 2 minutes left to go. Let's get our imbalance locator ready to rock and roll. We are going to deactivate this for ARCA and then wait to see what happens now as these imbalances will fill up. Not now, but I'm trying to, where can I put it? Maybe I'll put it here so we could see the futures, right? And we could see the imbalances. So that's what we're waiting for right now. But Brendan has something?
I just wanted to remind everyone, guys, if you happen to not be with us around 2:30 and missed that, we've just now put out that interview on its own. Miss V is going to have the link for you in the chat right now. So put that in a tab, save it for 4 o'clock, and watch it at 4 o'clock. The Peter Schiff interview, guys, is ready to go.
Whoa, hold on a second. Watch it after the trade of the day.
Yeah.
Watch the trade of the day, then watch it.
Make sure you watch it.
Just watch it.
And we'll see if we get Peter back on.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was incredibly entertaining. We got 1 minute to those imbalances. So like I said, it's informed guesses. I don't know if Palantir or Nvidia is going to have a huge imbalance, but those are the stocks that I'm going to want to watch. You saw what Twitter did, where Twitter had the big sell imbalance and shot to the upside, and there was that fade trade. So sometimes you get an opportunity like that. I'm talking about yesterday. Like, it shot up right to the high of the day on a sell imbalance and went up. So there was a bit of a pullback trade there on Twitter. It doesn't mean you can hold it forever. It was just a quick in and out scalp trade. Maybe you get one of those. Palantir's high is 14.25, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for. So I'm just waiting for like basically 10 to break. If 10 breaks on us, then we're gone, and it will be a hit for us. But we'll have to just wait to see where it goes. Like no expectations for me or anything on this one. Like Neil said, we're not trying to like predict the future. We're just trying to play with the numbers that we see. And I'm going to go short there at 14. Obviously, I'm holding this a whopping 4 pennies against me. So we'll see if it pays dividends or not in about 20 seconds when these imbalances come out. So the current time here on the Toronto trading floor is 49.46, 47.48. So, you can see that in the bottom, but just to give you guys so you know how far behind or not you are than us. Here we go. With only 5 seconds to go, let's see what rocks and rolls right now for this. The market's either going to rip or tank. Big statement right there. And doesn't look like it wants to do anything. So Palantir there is a sell. It's a sell, but it's definitely not anything that anyone seems to be too worried about right there. Coming out as a sell. CCL coming out as a sell. Oh, there it goes. Bye-bye. So that's just to the downside. I always click on the charts and it's like this disappears completely. So we'll have to see this. The market basically flat. So it looks like that Palantir trade will be kind of, as we say, a nothing burger there. But let's wait to see what this market does now. Nice move high side. Maybe it retraces CCL, Palantir, Microsoft as a buy. So that ticked out to 301. That was nice. Other than that, man, I don't see much. So really nothing here, which to me I would think would be bullish, but no real talk there. The Feds already came out, so let's wait to see where we go from here now. Ford almost at the day's high. It's a 30-cent winner.
Yeah, even with that CCL 1.7 million, basically it did absolutely nothing. The good news is, obviously any of my stock didn't stop me out, so we're hanging on to these. At 355, I'd probably tighten stops and think about where we can cover. But when they're in the money, it's a bit of an easier decision to make there. I see a couple of names like check out these symbols. Brian James, why not, right? I'm close to flat. I got stops in on all of them. AMC, it's up, and it made a big, strong move here in the morning, but it has given a lot of it back. I mean, your breakout play was off the open and then playing some of that recent support that it's put in. However, look, I'm not saying that I'm the biggest AMC bull out there, but you have higher lows being put in on this stock. Actually, I've chosen to favor shorts in GameStop when I do put them on, and then AMC for the longs. That just feels like it's been working a little bit better. But you have good higher lows here in AMC. And you also have this nice level of support the last week and a half or so at about 1760. Now, it has made a double top today, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's a nice range that could get broken out, and that'd be 21 breaking the top. You know, if it becomes, I probably wouldn't be a buyer tomorrow unless it's a big breakout or you're testing a 1760 to the downside. I don't know how much I believe in this level after one day. That's going to be 19 and a quarter. I'll tell you 1760, 1775, that looks really good. So 18 buy, you get that in a big sell-off, and that's going to make a heck of a lot of sense to me. That ship might have sailed, and you could be waiting for a 21 break, but that's fine. Sometimes you have to wait for the key level instead of just jumping back and forth. You'd have got whipped around here today unless you somehow managed to peg a random level for the bottom at 1935.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have the bottom here. We have 1931 long, 1932, I guess, long on AMC. So yeah, there we go. We did it. Good stock for me today, obviously, when all your outs are above your ins. Pretty good there. So AMC, my best out today, $20.10 off that exact bottom that Neil was talking about, 1931. So, and again, not a hard trade. It goes right back to the bottom where it was on the pre-market. We'll look to make the same trade again here tomorrow. Sorry about the lack of movement here into the close. Let's just look at Tesla. Did Tesla take that 926? No, it didn't. So even Tesla basically barcoding one more time down here, not doing anything, trying to wait for this market. And then I'm in Palantir and I'm in Ford. I mean, I might as well just get out of Ford. This is not moving at all. I had my stop set for 18, but I just wish something had happened. That was a great long down there, but we need to retest. So I don't, you know, we'll hold on to Palantir, see if we get a little move down in the next 3 or 4 minutes. And then Ford, I'm just going to get out. We're going to go to Brendan. I'm going to get out of Ford and see what we could do with PLTR. What's up, Brendo?
A few minutes to go here, guys. Let's get everyone set for aftermarket tonight on the earnings front and then before the open tomorrow. Busy board tonight, as we said.
It's a busy board. We've mentioned most of those names. The only one that we haven't talked about that in the middle that's going to be key is probably DoorDash. I mean, Walmart, I don't know if it's going to move too much. Keep an eye on Matterport because that's the potential to go there. There was one other one. I mean, Fastly. There was something else on that I forgot about in the morning show that you were pointing out, Sean, and now it's killing me. We know NVIDIA and Palantir, but
yeah, I think I didn't see Palantir. I mean, Cisco's in the top left, so there's
Cisco's
that.
there.
Other than that, man, I mean, I'm just looking around. And I don't see the Fisker logos right there, but I'm trying to think about what you said. Maybe Marathon Oil. Oil's been trading. That's not what we were talking about. I think it was.
Oh no, we did talk about it. It was Fisker and Fiverr.
I think it was Fisker.
Fisker, Fiverr. Those are two that we might not have said.
We didn't notice Fisker's logo there.
Yeah, those are two big ones,
That was
man.
the problem.
Volatility-wise, watch out for those two. Like Fiverr moved 10% downside. Fisker's got the short interest. You know those could be boomers. Any, by the way, while this was going on, Any made a power move to the upside here, up to $3.
We did it.
So there you go, guys. Late movers still. Any, actually something breaking the high.
All right, here goes Palantir. Let's see, man. Here we go. The 55 change up is coming through, so let's check a look. There is like a big sort of, I was going to say like a rebalance, and I guess there is. Once 55 hits, some of these either get paired off to like the serious side, not just like playing around. CCL still stays a sell, and Palantir's starting to get paired off now, but looks like it wants to hit the bottoms. I'm not going to put out an order for a market on close because honestly, I don't think this is going to do anything on close. It's only 500,000 shares. I mean, if it's still there at close, then maybe I'll throw it out. But I think it probably just prints the bid no matter where it goes from here. So I'm just hoping that we can break this 14. I do have a bid. That's where I'm short. I'm short 99. So we can get out for flat now, basically, if I pay the fee, or if I put offer here, I'll get paid for that. So we'll wait to see on that. I'm hoping that this breaks, and then this is the imbalance locator. And again, not much is on here. Come on, Palantir, just do it. The market is coming back down to the downside here. If this breaks, then I probably get it. I'm bidding 95 right now for Palantir. So hopefully we can get a 95 bid in, and then I'm bidding a 91 as well. So I think Palantir has a chance to crash down here, but we have to first stop, get the hell out of the way, 14, and then we'll see about going downside here on Palantir. But for right now, man, look at all these D prints, look at everything trading in between. I don't know if there's an aggressive enough order to take out this 14 right now. So hopefully it happens, but I'm not holding out hope on that.
We'll hit this one. Because, I mean, at least the two things we put on ended up working out, but it's 356, got to get flat. So I did get out of hook, which bounced, by the way. Had to tighten the stop again. It broke VWAP, so I got out of hook. We'll take the win on that. And then also Robinhood. as well. Not really going anywhere, couldn't retake the low. And when the market started popping to the upside, and this one came right into that lower high, 1375, we grabbed the short. It gives you a nice little move. The only thing I have left on is Virgin Galactic. So I said in the morning show that this would probably be the one that I was sitting in all day long, and it ends up being true. I'm not out yet, but not much I can do. But I'm going to get out on the bid in front of this ridiculous level. So there's actually 200,000 shares on the bid of Virgin Galactic as well. I'm still on Robinhood, but 200,000 shares on the bid, 2 minutes left in the day. I'm going to take it out there. It happens to also be in front of 10. There's the guy sitting at 10:01. No point fighting it, so I just got out of Virgin Galactic. Now I'm flat with 2.5 minutes to go.
So Palantir just did touch 97s there. So Palantir touches 97s before retracing there. So we could have got out at 97, everything, but we didn't. With only now 2.5 minutes left, yeah, like Neil said, we have to be flat at the end of every day. So maybe that 95 at this point is a pipe dream. We'll put a bid. Yeah, we'll just do it right now. We'll put a bid at 97. If it does come back down, we'll see if we get that fill. But honestly, I was waiting 95, 91s, 86s is where I was waiting, right into here. So I thought we had a chance once we broke that 14 to go down. I still think it's a short. It's just we're running out of time. This is not a call on earnings, man. I have no idea after Upstart, after Roblox, like I have no idea where these stocks are going to go off earnings. So for me, with only 2 minutes left, it looks like Palantir just wants to retrace back up to the upside right here.
Yeah, and with the market pulling back a little bit, the ES still green. We got 2 minutes to go. The NASDAQ just turned barely red. NVIDIA just flat, but that doesn't really do NVIDIA justice saying it's flat because it is up $10 from a double bottom. So the move in the afternoon has been straight to the upside, and it's holding the top, but it is flat on the overall session. This we'll watch going into the close. Of course, Fiverr, Upstart, Palantir, you can pick all of them. Backed as well, we know that's going to be a crazy one. That actually retraced off of $9. I'll tell you this much, I may have lost that bet about Miss V wearing the green. I know I lost it, Brad. Yeah, you remind me of it.
May have.
But today, so she wore the black and we're up 2%. Today, Miss V is worn the green, and the NASDAQ is just back and forth whether it's going to close positive. So it's going to come down to the wire. We have less than a minute to go, and it's still undetermined whether or not the green is still going to work and get the NASDAQ positive today.
Yeah, the NASDAQ from the open at least positive. But
Sure.
yeah, we'll see. We only have a minute or less than 1 minute left now. Come on, Palantir. I guess we're not going to get this tank back down in. Here it comes, 98s. I am bidding 97s, remember, with only a minute left. Who's going to ring the bell? Hopefully it's Miss V. But,
it is.
Okay, good. It is going to be Miss V. Here we go.
Wait a minute.
Come on, Palantir, to the downside right now. Starting to come down, so with only a couple seconds left, we should get out of more shares here. But Palantir definitely coming back in. So, hey, man, maybe we get our 95s after all.
And maybe we don't get green. There's still 10 seconds. Someone could come up with a gigantic buy order, and the NASDAQ could go green. Who knows? Anything can happen. But the countdown is on. 5, 4, 3, 2, and Miss V.
Done.
It is done.
She gone.
That was close. I don't think it got there, but it's close. The final word's Brendan's. But.
Yeah. Brendan will tell us how we wound up there. Brendan, what is the story on said futures?
I was waiting for this to refresh one time, but I don't think the NASDAQ got there, guys. But here we go. This is what I have. 0.1 there for the NASDAQ. On the negative side, 0.02 for the Dow, basically flat for the Dow and the S&P. But hey, they're positive, so we'll take it. When all is said and done, guys, we were not necessarily concerned, but looking forward to, I guess. The Fed minutes, they came, they went, nothing really all that exciting happened.
Yeah, strong moves in the market. I don't think NVIDIA's out yet, but it just popped like $2 or $3. So that can't be a necessarily bad sign, but you never really know until you actually get the number dropped there. So lots of earnings. It was a ridiculous earnings board. So
it was.
It's going to be absurdly busy going through that. That's why I tune in early for the morning show when we go over the plan of action and what is going to be a pretty crazy trading day. We've been waiting for this earnings day during this week, and then the Fed minutes should be a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like we did good getting out Ford there, 1807. But Palantir was a nothing burger. Look, I'm excited tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a great day, man. Trust me on that one. We'll be trading Palantir like a madman tomorrow. You definitely guarantee that, just like Roblox today. Thank you to Tim, man. Thank you to Lucas today as well. And always a big thank you to Miss V over there on the desk. What's up, Miss V? Thank you very much. You know, doesn't miss a beat, right? Second day back, doesn't miss a beat. Cute dog. I was talking to my wife about that. It's crazy that they have to be in quarantine at the airport. Like, who's even looking after them at the airport? It's a puppy.
Great question.
For damn.
Great question.
Anyways, all right. Thank you so much to our main man over there, $10 richer, Prad over there. What's up, Brad? Thank you so much for a great day. And of course, thank you to Brendan. Mr. Peter Schiff was in the building on Zoom. And that was a great interview, and that is now up. So thank you for that one as well, Brendan. So, hey, you talked about the trade of the day. It's up there. So was that interview with Peter Schiff. Guys, join us tomorrow where the fun, you know, you think today was fun? Wait till you see tomorrow. Join us 8:30, tradertv.live.
Here's